Randy, our mic should be live now.
What up?
Hello. Uno momento, people, as we are getting ready here.
Okay.
You know what it just occurred to me, Randy? What time it is?
What time is it?
Baby, you know what time it is.
I think we were just asking.
It's Studio Johnny Q time.
Well, what would that mean?
That means it is time to drop your nerd drawers, baby.
Oh, all right.
I don't know exactly what that means, but I'm sure it's sexy.
Well, I can tell you what it means because I already have my nerd drawers dropped, so it's like I'm talking to you from the future. It's good. It's good stuff.
Baby.
Oh, yeah. Hey,
You know what time
got
it
that covered
is.
there. Thank you. Thank you, Smoothie Q Breeze. And welcome, one and all, to Edition Thru Distraction. Here, your twice-a-week vodcast that's occurs down here in the depths of Studio Johnny Q. I am your host, the Aloof Goof Studio Johnny Q, proprietor Johnny Q himself. We have Randy on the master controls over there. Randy, give a little
Hello.
hey.
So I'm trying to get my coffee set up here.
Yep, Randy, you take your time. I know that you were running with the devil, and so I need to get some things cleaned up. But what I'm going to do here is I will put front and center, Randy, while I'm doing that. These lovely beholder creatures. These things are coming out so cool.
Nice.
So get some, there we go. And I'm going to throw.
I'm going to mute my mic for a second so I
Yeah.
can get my bagel ready.
All right. So while we take a little there and even maybe perhaps. All right. Let's see. Sorry, people. Getting some things here behind the scenes. And I'm going to be doing some straightening up work. So, welcome to today's edition Thru Distraction. Want to remind everybody that on today's show that you will be treated to the soothing of your ear holes from the waxing poetic of Randy and myself, and your eye holes will be blessed with the things such as these lovely beholder creatures that we painted up here.
And if you feel that our waxing of the poetic is a little too waxy, then, make sure you schedule your annual ear waxing or ear candling.
Did you unmute your mic?
Yes.
Okay. I didn't want to interrupt you mid poetic wax. Who is it? It's Bloodhound Gang. They say they Brazilian wax poetic.
Sounds interesting.
Yeah.
Let's
Don't talk.
give some snaps up for that. I feel like I need to be wearing a beret and
Oh,
sitting
I
in
got
a
what you're
smoky
doing.
cafe.
You were doing the cool cat jazz thing.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, the finger snaps.
Yeah.
I gotcha. That's nice. Yeah.
Right on.
Oh, yeah. I hate spoken word poetry like that, which is sad because,
Most of it is shit. Some of it is actually pretty cool.
yeah.
It's funny, and So I Married an Axe Murderer
Yeah.
when he does that.
Yes. Harriet. hot harbinger of haggis.
Alliteration.
Yeah, there we go. I was trying to get a little bit of light. I think that might have actually worked. Great, googly moogly. All right.
I apologize if there are any sounds of eating
Yum 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 yums.
that are coming across my mic. I do not like that, but I was running late this morning.
Well, Randy, if you can mute it, and I will I will chat with the people if you need a couple seconds, and if not, I guess they can just endure. Yeah. So we talked about how ear holes are going to get soothed and how eye holes are going to get soothed, and
I wasn't sure if you said soothed or sued or
Well-
sewed for a second there.
soothe. Hopefully, it's going to be
Soothed.
soothing. Yep. And so
Soothed. Soothed.
Hello, Soothed. Have you met my sister, Soothed? That sounds like I always thought in Lion, Witch, and the Wardrobes, the Narnia, Eustace. I was like, that was just the weirdest name. I just never, and it's still like about the only time. Although probably after those books, nobody wanted to name their kids Eustace. But that's what I think of when Soothed. It's like Soothed and Eustace. But yeah, so we talked about the ear holes, we talked about the eye holes, and hopefully there's no sewage that goes on, but there will be a lot of queuage. See what I did there? Always be branding, Randy. And along with that, we just want to remind everybody that right now, please hit the like button, please hit share, please hit share. You don't hit share, but you do hit subscribe, and when you do that, that gives you access to the bell icon, and when you click that, you get to hear church bells ringing as if it was Sunday morning, or something more in line with your own religious beliefs or lack thereof.
Yeah, I might burst into flames. The church bells start.
Yeah. Yep, I hear you on that.
Depending on who you ask.
True. Yes. You could be celebrated elsewheres. So, with that, I think, proof yet positive of how good we are at these intros, Randy. And by us, I mean me. I take all of the credit or the blame. And by that, I mean blame. All right. But yeah, hit the like, hit the share. You don't hit the share. I don't know why do I keep saying you want to hit the share? Hit the share button.
Thank you for sure. Yeah.
There isn't, but you can hit copy and then paste.
Like,
and
share, subscribe.
And that's like
That's a thing. That's good. Those are good things.
Yeah. Yeah.
There is a share button.
There's a share
on
button?
mine anyway. Yeah.
Oh. Well, okay. I thought that see, man, I feel like my mind has been blown right now, Randy.
Discombobulated today.
I know. I feel like you just opened me up to a.
I'll take credit for it. It's my fault because I was running late. You're all a little discombobulated.
Yeah. No. You just when I say like, share, and subscribe, I was thinking that it was you hit like and you hit subscribe, but that sharing was just the action. But there is the share button, right? And when you do the share, it tells you like you can copy the link, or you can choose like what application you want to share it through, like your email or whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, okay.
And you should share by spoken word as well.
Yes.
So
yeah, I highly endorse that. This is where we talk about you tell your moms.
Snaps are optional.
Yes. You tell your moms, you tell your Brahms, and you tell your secret pom-poms. I don't know. No, that's not working either. Man, I'm trying, Randy. I'm really...
The lullabies are optional, too, when you're telling Brahms. I'm sure he's heard them before.
Brahms. Yes, probably. Yes. It's all Pachelbel, isn't that what they say? Yep. All songs come back to Pachelbel. And the four chords.
That's where you get the burritos, right?
The burritos come from
Pachelbel.
Pachelbel.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing, just entirely different.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah. So entirely different, not the same thing.
It's a melodic burrito.
A melodic,
wrapped in a melody.
A melodic burrito. That is, there was a movie called The Car from the 70s, Randy. Really horrible, like cheesy movie. Mm-hmm. And the car was like possessed sort of thing. And I remember it had this horn, and it was like, bah, 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 bah. That meant, some bad stuff was about ready to happen. But apparently there's a line in this movie where someone says, if you don't stop playing that musical instrument, whatever it was like a trumpet, if you don't stop playing that trumpet, I'm going to shove it so far up your ass that you'll be farting music for a year. And the kid, because it's a kid, right? And he's like, imagine that, farting music for a year. And he starts going, like a kid would do, right? Like, that's not a bad thing. Can you imagine that? Farting music for a year.
That is not unlike what it sounded when I was in band.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You farted music for a year?
Oh, that's what it sounded like
Yeah.
when I played the trumpet. I had the hand-me-down trumpet. So,
yeah.
I think I needed a larger mouthpiece or something. I don't know. It wasn't. I'm just gonna say it was out of tune. It had nothing to do with my lack of skill or or finesse.
You missed that or bad teachers. Not you, my friend.
It was clearly the teacher and everybody else in the class, and the way that the music was written on the page was just it was, I don't know, it was a bad copy or something. I got gypped.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
Who's proofreading that stuff, right? Who proofreads those musical notes?
Nobody else seemed to have a problem, but
think about that.
I don't know. They must have had the good copies.
Right? I mean, maybe somebody just down the line, just, a copy of a copy, right? Maybe the originals of these are somewhere.
Yeah, what are they, what were they called? Like in elementary when we had did you ever get to run the duplicates off? What did they call them back then?
On the,
because they weren't
stenograph?
Stenograph, isn't that what they use in court? A court stenographer.
Yeah,
that's
but
the
I think
machine they use to take notes.
But I think
it means taking notes.
Right, but I think mimeograph.
Mimeograph, maybe.
Mimeograph machine. Maybe that's what you're thinking of too.
There's
right?
like a word that we called the.
Yeah, where it's got that blue whatever.
Yeah, and it has that smell to it, and they come out all warm, and they smell like that. And
before
copying
machines. When we were kids, we didn't have opioid crisis. We had copy paper crisis.
Yeah, we just sniffed the copy paper.
That and whiteout. And markers.
Oh, that was before whiteout, I think.
No,
did we have whiteout in elementary? I don't know. When was whiteout created?
I know who it was created by. It was created by, I believe it was
Jack White?
No.
Oh.
You know the dude from the Monkees, the TV show band Monkees? Hey, we're the Monkees.
I've never seen that before.
Daydream Believer.
I know that song. Yeah.
Okay, so that was by the Monkees. And there was one of the dudes wore a toque. A red toque. I believe his name was Mike.
Was he a hobbit?
And no, he was not a hobbit. He was not. He wasn't wearing a fool of a toque. He didn't have peregrine on his head. But that like is amazing.
I'm just gonna keep derailing you all day long.
That's awesome. Yeah, no, it's not gonna be hard. But so, he wore the toboggan, and I believe his mom. Was at least the local legend is that she was rich because she was the secretary who invented whiteout.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah.
1956 actually. I don't think that we had access to whiteout.
That was an adult
in elementary
product.
School. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, heck, they gave us scissors that were had no sharp parts to them at all. I don't even know how we used them to cut things. I think you just
the safety scissors.
Yeah, the safety scissors. You just laid them on paper and then you went in the corner and you prayed because that was going to be more effective than actually trying to cut with them. And then that was the other thing is they gave you in kindergarten those big honking pencils that were like Lincoln Logs.
Yeah.
It was that's why kids in kindergarten can't write good. It's because you give them these unwieldy pencils. It takes two hands to try to write with. But
so apparently, let's see, whiteout is brand name, I think. So Liquid Paper is an American brand of the Newell Brands company, marketed internationally, that sells correction fluid, correction pens, and correction tape.
Fluid. Oh my gosh, there are some places where that's something completely different.
Mainly used to correct typewriting in the past.
And bad behavior.
Oh yeah, we did. No, because I used to use my grandmother's typewriter.
Did you do a lot of typing in elementary?
Yeah, we had to. I'd use my grandmother's typewriter, and she had the whiteout sheets. I don't remember the correction sheets or whatever, where it was an actual like plastic sheet with white on the back of it.
Yeah,
and you would stick
you
that
put it on
in
front of the
between.
thing, and then you had to strike the same key, right?
Yeah.
So that it would. Yep, I remember that. And then they made them to where some of the like the electric typewriters would have
a correction tape.
In them,
yeah.
as well. Yep.
1956, Bet Nesman Graham, the mother of the monkeys, Michael Nesmith,
Wow.
invented the first correction fluid in her kitchen. Working as a typist, she used to make many mistakes and always strived for a way to correct them. Starting on a basis of tempera paint, she mixed with a common kitchen blender. She called the outcome fluid Mistake Out and started to provide her coworkers with small bottles on which the brand's name was displayed.
Huh.
By 1958, Graham founded the Mistake Out Company and continued working from her kitchen and eventually garage, nights, weekends, to produce small batches of correction bottles. She was fired from her typist job.
That's awesome.
As executive secretary at Texas Bank and Trust after she accidentally put her own company's name on her employer's letter. She subsequently decided to devote all of her time to Mistake Out.
That's awesome.
Graham offered her correction fluid to IBM, which declined the offer. The company announced its own correcting Selectric with an integrated lift-off tape in 1973. It was quite a while after that. By 1968, the product, now renamed liquid paper, was profitable, and in 1979, the company was sold to the Gillette Corporation for $47.5 million with royalties.
No, with royalties.
Wow.
Yes.
Nice.
Ah,
Holy shit. What is 1979? $47.5 million.
that's a lot of money.
That is a
So when they
lot
said
of
that his mom was a self-made millionaire because she created it, it's just like you think it would be, right? That is amazing. That is a great. Thanks for recapping that.
That's awesome.
That story, Randy. That is really cool. Okay, so Randy, that's the kind of little fun facts that you're gonna get from hanging out here. Addition through distraction, we add a little value to the monotony of the day in day out. The same shiz, different day, by distracting you with fun little tidbits like that. And then also, Randy, I'm going to bring it back. You were talking about Paco Bell, and we got talking about the car because we were talking about music and farting music. And that's what I'm thinking. That's what happens if you eat at Paco Bell. You're farting music. So
nice. It's because of the musical beans.
Right. Yeah. Beans. They are the musical fruit, I hear. And apparently, if you consume more of them, then you have a better chance of performing said musical abilities.
Oh my god, I wish that they had a bean taco called Paco Bell's Taco. That'd be awesome. Paco Bell's burrito. It's a bean burrito.
Except for I'm sure that somebody who fancies themselves to be a little south of the border, although they're not, would probably want to sue you.
Why?
Because
if their name is Paco Bell and they make burritos?
Well, because they would say it is done to intentionally confuse people. Intellectual property.
Well, there is
law
always somebody
weird.
that wants to sue you. So
But yeah.
I guess there's that.
Yeah. Just because they wouldn't like it is why they would do it. All right, Randy. So on today's episode, we are going to be working on some of the finishing touches of these. These guys are, almost done in and of themselves. And I'll go into some more detail on those, get the M50, and we'll take a closer look at those. Also, can you change it so that I don't have new tab showing, but the what is currently the middle tab?
How'd that happen?
I don't know. If you clicked on it, you probably accidentally hit the plus instead of... Yeah. So I got that one. Okay. Blah, 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 blah. That's some show notes. Yeah. Also remind people that we got all the stuff in our description. The recommended gear, we've got two things that we're highlighting right now, which is our glue gun and our heat gun. So we may actually pull out the glue gun and work on a dragon egg today. Cool. And yep. Oh, and Randy, and exciting news.
Oh.
The Oculus Quest headset
Mhm.
scheduled to arrive today.
Nice.
It came yesterday.
Oh.
Oh, it's right over there to the left of you. Right. Oh, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. And of that, now that I've got you thinking of that, you'll find this funny. I'm going to turn this upside down. I'll have to use the ceiling cam. I was looking at this and I thought for certain it was part of your VR headset.
Mm.
You see this? I'm gonna like not. I don't want you to actually see it, but I want you to just kind of get the vague ideas of the shapes, right?
Okay.
I was like, oh, this is like VR goggle headset, right? Over here.
Uh-huh.
No, it was the dog bowls. I don't know.
Nice.
It was. I was damn certain, like from far away, it was like, oh, it's a VR headset. No, it's okay. Yeah, perspective, right? well, maybe we'll come back to that on the mental health minute.
That's actually not a bad idea because it looks like it's saying on the one part, at least it looks like it's saying that you can like lift up, you know, in like some sunglasses.
Yeah.
It's like a clip-on thing and you can lift the shades up so
Yeah.
you can see through.
Yes, I know. It was like, and especially when it's upside down, right?
So you don't have to take your headset off to be able to
Yeah.
see the real world while you're playing.
Yeah, it was like, especially like, it's like upside down here. It was just like,
Uh-huh.
oh, yeah, because here it is, like the front of it, right?
Yeah.
And then this is from the back side of it. And it was like, oh, there's something, yeah, like if you're cleaning them, this is what you do. You flip them up so that you can clean the back side of them. Yeah, and if you have to replace a lens or something, yeah. I'm certain that's what this was. I thought it was so funny. I wanted to make sure I shared that with you. And since we got the headset, it was a very good segue. And I'll just run that over here actually super quick.
Did you set the tweet for the start of the thing?
I didn't do that, but I did do an Instagram actual.
Okay.
I did today's, since I did it early, I put it to where we were, casting like 10 minutes early because I was testing that time feature.
Mhm.
And no, it just cast us like immediately. It didn't wait until 11:55. But it's and so I just had it on the stream starting or the pre-stream starting screen.
Mhm.
And then since it gave me the link, then I was able to actually use that in today's Instagram post. So I actually posted that, and then that gets carbon copied to Facebook and to Twitter. So did that get you the information you were looking for?
Yep.
I don't know. More than you need. All right, Randy. So these are the two hand controllers. And what is crazy is that this is it right here. Untethered VR experience. Pretty groovy. And then supposedly through this headset here, or through this port here, you can connect it to the PC and then do Steam VR games. But I have,
And that's something like PlayLink or something like that, or I forget what they call it.
they call it Steam Link or Oculus Link, I think. I too much stuff in a very short period of time, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there is a name, Oculus Link. I don't know. But last night I was trying to get it to work and I couldn't get it to. It was like the PC could see it, but it wasn't seeing it. And then I was watching that thing that you had told me from Linus Tech Tips, and they were talking about using a special cable, and you got to make sure, which I have. I actually have one of those cables. I have the Anchor Powerline Plus cable, just like they said, and I was using it, and it still wasn't doing it. So it was one of those like, it's late, come back another day. Yeah. But it didn't matter. I still got to play the first chapter of Vader Immortal. So if you have time, hoping that you can actually get a chance to check that out.
Cool.
Today.
Sorry for the crunchy noises here.
Yeah.
I saw something recently where they did recommend that game. I think it was actually tested. They were like doing a.
Oh, okay.
They prefaced the name of the post with a word. This isn't right, but I'm gonna say projected to give you an idea. So, just that. I think they were saying these are the games that we think are going to be favorites in 2020, kind of thing.
Okay, yep.
And one of them was that.
Yep, I could see that.
But if they were talking about the same thing, they were talking about the Vader. So that there's an experience where you encounter Vader.
Yeah.
They didn't want to give too much away, but they seem to be saying it was kind of a new genre a little bit, but like a guided storyline, not quite a full like hardcore gaming, playable gameable thing. It was kind of an integrated storyline sort of situation or something.
Good. You are very well prepared for this experience. I would say, yeah, that was a really good breakdown of it. That because it's like, yeah, you could tell basically from the way they sell it in the commercial that yeah, you're going to be meeting Vader, or like maybe somehow you're apprentice to him or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But that is really cool seeing him, and I'll want to talk more about it after you experience it, because I want to talk about an experience and how I think that they've programmed it and what your perspective of it would be compared to mine, because we have difference in heights, right? And so, and it's neat because
you can probably adjust your height,
right? So I'm
settings.
Curious to see what your experience will be compared to mine, right? Because I know what mine was, so, and then after you experience it, I can say, hey, was it like this or was it like this? But anyways.
So you think with the camera sensors, because that's how that one tracks everything, is by the cameras on the headset, right?
Yeah, and what is
Or
really cool was like when
people
people are like talking to you, they look you in the eye because they know where your eyes are.
Oh, that's cool.
And when you move, because you can you can move a lot in that space, especially like they turn to look at you. And that's really engaging. I was really surprised at how instantly it was like, ooh, that's neat.
Yeah, the more precise they can make that, I imagine it would add quite a bit of realism, whether you realize it or not.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's one of those things that, it'll just be so part and parcel to people who would have this experience growing up, like children and stuff, that they won't realize like all these elements that really help to make it engaging. And help you overcome some uncanny valley kind of experiences. I wanted to show you one thing I've been really impressed with is all of the build quality on all this stuff, and none of this stuff is sponsored, by the way. Just my own thoughts about this stuff. The build quality on this stuff is really nice. The packaging, it's like whenever you get your new Samsung phone, right? And the box is really sleek and the packaging is really just top notch. And this thing had like no fluff, right? Wasn't a bunch of stuff that I was throwing away, which was really nice. But one of the things on this I had not seen, Randy, is the battery. So the cover for this is actually you slide it off like this, but it's magnetic. So it just will pop back on. So
that's crazy.
Bink. Slide it down. So yeah, I guess you just slide it down by pushing kind of down like that. But yeah, it's not like none of that thing where you got to click it back in and eventually that plastic piece is going to break.
Yeah.
So it was like, kudos. I really like that, and I hope that's something that gets used in other places. But so yeah, I've got a thumbstick, 2 buttons here. It's got this button here and this button here. And there's something with these buttons that if you have just the slightest touch on them, it knows it. So if you're off, it automatically has your hand fingers doing things differently than even if you just have your on there but not pressing them. You know what I mean?
Your hand behaves differently.
Yes.
Nice.
So having it like this.
Your in-game hand.
Yeah, your in-game hand. Having it like this will have it be like a closed hand, but not squeezing, but like this. But even just doing this will put your finger out. So like if you're gonna push a button in the game or something like that. Yeah. So I know it's just like how it. That's another one where you don't even realize it, but you're doing this and it's reacting to you. And it's like, how is it even? It's like I'm not even pressing the button, but it knows a difference between that. And I don't know if it's just sensing a very, very slow. And then also the more you squeeze, the more it's it's graduated. It's not just an on-off switch, So it's like the more you squeeze. And so that was like, oh, that's pretty cool. So
yeah, that's high end.
Defining the space.
To the other brands of equipment.
Yeah.
That I have experience with.
Defining the space is really neat. So we'll have you do that where, you put the headset on. And what's really neat is that thing where it shows you the black and white of the room that you're in. And it's like, yeah, every VR headset needs this. because to be able to do something where you can see the space if you need to without taking
To
the
adjust
headset
the
off.
gamma, like
What's that?
adjusting the gamma.
Yeah, because remember you can set the floor play area.
Yeah. Mhm.
And so when you do that, it lets you see like a black and white version of your
Oh, okay.
space, kind of like a night
okay.
camera
Of
sort of thing.
your real space.
Of your real space.
Yeah. Okay.
So that was really neat. Having used
Nice.
one where you couldn't do that.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me. So that was pretty cool. So
you can pull that up in your head, a view of that within the headset.
Yeah, and I'm not exactly
cool.
sure if you can do it with a one button press. You may be able to, but you can always do it by going to the home mode and then to that thing. So it's like it's at the most like two button presses away.
Nice, because
So
that would have been very helpful in because I did get a chance to play some VR this weekend. Had some issues getting everything set up at my brother's and stuff. So
oh yeah, that's right, because you were taking it to show it to other people.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
just like everything
super nice for that.
Yeah, definitely. Because everything wanted updated.
Oh.
Which I don't know why.
Right.
It just bad timing, I guess, because I had it plugged in at home and set to do automatic updates. And
hold on. Normally this happens really quick. No, it's okay. No, hold on. It's got to reboot.
Yeah, which wouldn't have been that bad if it had been at my place. But he's out way in the country and has like just phone-based broadband.
He's got that
broadband.
That what was it? That dish satellite broadband.
He doesn't have the satellite. He's just got phone line.
I remember they had those commercials for it where it's like, now I can finally see that video everyone's talking about. That was actually the commercial for it for like people that lived out in the middle of nowhere. Now I can see that just that video. That video. Sorry, go ahead.
So it was taking like 11 hours to download a game that he had Call of Duty. It took like it said 11 hours, but then I think it ended up taking longer than that. It ended up taking overnight. And like something that probably would have taken maximum of 40 minutes max at my place was taking several hours to do at his place. So, and it was just like everything we tried to play wanted to update.
Right.
So that wasn't working out. And then other stuff we ran into was everything wanted him to have an account set up to be able to either be a character within the game or to save his progress. So it wasn't that he could just create a guest account on or even a user account on my PlayStation console. He actually had to make like a PlayStation user password, and then whatever brand game the creator of the game that we were playing wanted their own wanted you to sign up your own username or whatever for them.
Gotcha.
So it was just one thing after another.
Yeah.
So we ended up playing some stuff, but not nearly what I had anticipated.
Yeah, and you're so exhausted by the point that you're just like,
yeah,
really.
He did get a chance to play some of the Star Trek Bridge Crew.
Okay, hold on to that. I want to show you this real quick so I can set it back down.
Oh, that's looking cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
So this was, I think on the last stream we were working on the feet piece, right, for this. So, and some of the base.
Mm-hmm.
So you can see
Nice.
how we had done these, and then just basically right now these are just thumbtacked into.
What size of a creature does that
this would
constitute
be
there?
a normal size creature. Let me get something for scale here. This would be a medium size creature, and this would actually be beyond a large creature, I think. I think a large creature, so this would be, I don't remember what the step is behind a large. I'm considering this one for the Grando Mini, so I'm considering it large scale, but it's actually larger than that.
Size chart.
Here, this would be considered probably a large mini. And this is a pre-painted WizKid Rakdos Ogre from one of their 2018 sets here.
That little one is considered a large?
This one.
Oh, I'm looking at the delay.
Yeah, so this would be considered a large compared to a medium. This would be a medium character.
Yeah, because a large takes up 4 squares, is it?
I Yeah. Well, 2x2. So yeah, 2x2. So 4 squares. Yep.
Yeah.
And a square would be an inch. Or it's a half inch. It's an inch, right?
I think so.
5 feet.
I believe so.
5 feet represents 1 inch, I think.
Yeah.
So yeah, you have that, and then this is this guy. So it's a good point, Randy, to see here.
Oh yeah.
He's a big boy. And so yeah, we just got some initial base coats and some of his base pulled down. And the way that I have it is, since he's not fixed, I can pull him out and paint the base separately and then put him back on, and then we'll glue him and fix him on. So, but yeah, I'm excited to paint him, especially after the way that the eyeballs were coming out. All right. So you were saying you got to play a little bit of the Bridge Commander?
Yeah, Star Trek Bridge Crew.
Bridge Crew. Yeah,
Yeah.
I keep calling Bridge Commander because of an older game.
I had him play some of that, and he liked it. But that's, it's not very action-packed. You're just sitting there in the captain's chair and, moving your hands around to give console commands, basically. And for some reason, the voice commands weren't working. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah, and you'd sent me that link, but yeah,
that's
having
another issue we ran into, was that the voice commands weren't working. But that's fine. You can still do all the commands through the consoles and stuff.
But this is really cool, and I hate that. I hate when that happens.
It increases the immersion of it so much, being able to use the voice commands, that not having them is a damn shame. But
yeah.
What else did we? And then we ended up playing Borderlands too.
Oh, cool! I want to ask you.
Split screen.
I want to ask you some more about that. Hold on one second. I'm going to do a little bit of our half price bargain bin review.
Yeah.
I stopped in. Our buddy Dwayne. He's helped me learn more about Tom Waits, and I was asking him what some good albums are, and he'd mentioned 4 of them, and I actually found one of those. So picked up Rain Dogs from Tom Waits, and then Watsky. He's a kind of like nerdcore rapper that I'm a big fan of. And actually I have that kind of like nerdcore station. It's based on MC Frontalot, is kind of the main seed of it. And it had the song Whoa 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 on it, and I was like, which album is that? And I was like, I think that's the album I just picked up. And so actually I did just pick this up. I really like him. He's real good.
Nice.
So I got those.
Hey Shay. Shay says, hey guys.
Hey Shay.
So
Hey.
sorry she's been absent. It's been encountering some life-changing decisions that have been consuming her soul lately. Still loves us.
Yep. That's
love you too.
Exactly what I figured, Shay. We love you, and we support you whatever you decide. Unless you decide to do something stupid, and then we'll scorn you for it. But I'm sure you would expect nothing less. Randy. So the half price store, which already has good deals on minis, they had their 20% off everything sales over the weekend.
Nice.
So I was like, oh, when we stopped back from groceries, it's like, let's stop in and check out. And so they had a bunch of the stuff where they kind of had a price increase. Whoever's in charge of their minis seems to price them a little higher than what they previously were.
Yeah.
So, but if they don't sell after a while, they'll go ahead and mark them down. And so a bunch of the miniatures had all been marked down with a manual markdown. So I got them, I go to the half price store, as I was joking with Carrie, he's like, I go to the half price store waiting for the stuff to get marked down so that I can buy it 20% off. But when we did that, we got some really cool items here. So I'm going to pop those up, and I'll just going to share some of these while you're talking about some of your VR experiences.
Yeah. Well, we didn't play
Borderlands
2
the
is not
Borderlands
VR.
2, yeah.
We didn't play it in VR. I think they actually do have it in VR now.
They do. Oh, okay. But you were playing it split screen.
Yes.
Did you have fun with that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a lot of fun. I would like to play that. You and I had actually played the first Borderlands split screen.
Yeah, I
at the house.
thought it was 2 that we played, but it must have been
No,
the
it was
original,
1. No,
okay.
2. Yeah, no, it was 1.
All right.
Because I haven't played 2 yet. I haven't played any versions of 2. And
they
Borderlands
got
1 was one of my
prequel out as well, but apparently the prequel takes place in between 1 and 2, but the beginning of it starts after 2, so they recommend that you just play them in order that they came out.
Oh, okay. Yeah, and
most
also
of the
3. I think 3 came out.
Yes, it did.
And that's so I was like, well, I should probably play 2, but now you can do 2 in VR. So I think that's something I would like to do. And actually, it should, in theory, something that you and I could do in tandem. So
Yeah, no, we both have systems.
yeah. So I'd be really curious to give that a
that'd be
try. I'm super excited to see what that would be like. All right, so I'll switch to the M50, and again, I'm just gonna bring up some of these items that. Let me see if I can get this.
I did check out the Doctor Who.
Oh yeah.
VR. I can't remember. Edge of Time, I believe it's called.
Uh-huh.
Eh.
Not recommending it for me to buy it.
I mean, I was tired and like I wanted to check it out, but I should have been asleep. But I wanted to check it out anyway. But yeah, it seemed like the loading time, and I heard some other people say. I looked it up afterward to see what other people thought.
Cash grab. You
What?
you don't have to say it. I'll say it for you.
Oh,
It's a cash grab. They came to market too early.
You definitely have to be very interested in.
You gotta want
Who to be, yeah. Like it's not like if you really like action games or there's much better. If you're not big into Doctor Who, it's not really for you, I don't think. And there's some things about it. It's the new Doctor, and I love her,
Doctor. But why? Because she's female. She's got to be nude, Randy. That's really sexist of you.
The not nude.
Just want to say, Randy, these mounts look like Thestrals.
Oh, nice.
Let me see if I can get it closer.
You can see them? I can see it. Oh, sorry for your loss and mine.
Yes. Yeah, we would both be able to see Thestrals, I'm pretty sure. Right? If but can you see like his neck and his face here where he kind of has that undeady?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, that reminds me of something I've been meaning to tell you. Dragon Age Inquisition.
Yeah.
They have mounts. One is called the Bog Unicorn. And the other is something steed or something like. But they have swords up through the bottom of their head, coming out the top of their head, and that's their unicorn's horn. It's really I can't.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, I'll just use one of the other mounts. I don't need that. I don't want to look at a horse with a sword through its head. It's just too sad.
Yeah, that's rough, man. So yeah, these are cool. So I got 5 of these in a pack. So I think these are gonna paint up. They've got real good definition. Randy, I think these are gonna look good. So yeah,
it looks like it. There's a lot to do there. A lot of potential, different things you could do.
And I like doing this too. Having done these beholders where I did 3 of them at one time, it's like that's going to be the way to go, right? Doing the same thing in bulk, you just gain so much efficiencies rather than doing them separately. All right, so we got those. Let me put that in here.
Yeah, just from the fact that you got like the same paints out for base layers or whatever.
Yeah.
Chase said she loves Borderlands 2.
Oh yeah, that's cool.
I had forgotten what the gameplay was actually like, and what the world actually looked like.
It does have a very unique style, which at first can be off-putting, but I think is really cool. And I think that part of it is a way to help with PC load of the game. I think it lets it be stylized while also being less graphically intensive. Kind of, if you think about the Switch version of Zelda, is kind of the same thing.
Yeah, because it's not. I mean, you're not getting realistic textures and stuff. It's all kind of like an animated comic.
Right, but so that's what you can think of, right? It's got flat.
But it's cool.
Yeah, it's like things are really flat, but they've got then textures on them, so it's 3D. It feels very 3D, but it feels flat. And so I think some of that stuff is actually to help with PC loads. It's a clever, because it works, because it just ends up giving it a very unique.
I think when we first played it, the first one, I was off put by the texture. It took me a while to adjust to it.
Yeah.
But when I got back into this playing the second one, I really thought it was cool.
Cool. That's cool. Yeah. These figures are metal, Randy, and they're like some sort of like female Oni whip wielder.
Is that a oh shoot, what is it?
It calls
Like a
them.
Draenei with the horns. There's, let's see, D&D.
These are from War Machine, and it calls them Sat.
Oh, okay.
Ikissus Raiders or something.
I was thinking it might be. There's a D&D race that it makes me think of.
Oh, it's kind of like a succubus.
Like a tiefling or something.
Oh,
I can't
yeah.
think if that's
There's the
tiefling.
Yeah.
Makes me think thief, but
yeah, tiefling. I think you're. I think tieflings are.
sorry, that doesn't tiefling. Actually, it also makes me think like
There's several
like
of them that are
a
similar.
small race of small.
The
beings.
horned. Like there's like the fawns. There's the satyrs. There's like start to kind of cross over. And I'm not sure.
Yeah, tiefling. Yeah.
Let's see here. There you go, Randy. So you got a lot of various.
Need to mute your speakers. They're not in focus.
Well, I can't see anything, so it's hard for me to.
There you go. Nice.
And you can see they got a lot of various poses. So what I liked about these were there were 10 of them.
Here's a artistic representation of a tiefling. You know?
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. They're one of the more newer races, I think. Maybe it came out in like 3.5 or 4, or maybe they've been around forever and I'm just not as familiar with them. But so with these, Randy, there was 10 of them. Got them for 20% off 24. So that's 2.5 a piece plus 20% off. So yeah. So let's see, what would it be? 8, and 4.
You're out of focus again.
20. So yeah, $2 a mini on these. So that's a pretty good deal.
Nice.
Yeah, and again, with them being metal, got good detail, interesting weapons. I think we'll be able to do some really cool stuff with these. So this would be something, Randy, that I would do for the rando line, right? This would be a small scale mini that I'll do, a batch of them up. And so, more interesting, you can take a look at the Patreon page, link down in the Cubelage.
I switched your view because it was out of focus.
And then also there is a game, I'm not sure which, Hordes, and it has these kind of, I don't know what the race is. Creole is. Are you for Creole?
Creole?
That's like when you're crazy real. You're Creole?
Like Nolan's Creole?
No. Randy, that's silly. Why would you? That's just trying to be real over here, talking about my Creole warriors, and you're talking about Creole.
Oh, krill.
Oh, Creole.
like little shrimp kind of thing.
My dad, he loves to tell a story about he went to a restaurant one time and he was like, "Do you have like shrimp?" "Yes, sir. They're referred to on the menu as prawns." And he just loves to tell that story. Yes, sir. Prawns. Ooh, this guy's missing an arm.
That's actually what they call them in Britain. It's prawn. Well, I assume.
I thought a certain type of shrimp was a prawn, but I could be wrong.
I think generally they're larger, but
That's true. I don't think I've ever had many tiny prawns.
This one is saying that they're different, but I think over there I've never heard anybody ask for shrimp. They always say prawn. From just from things that I've seen.
Huh.
I mean, they're basically the same.
Can
thing.
you cheat that screen to the left just a little bit so I can see what the output is?
Oh, did I?
There we go. Thank you, sir.
Yep.
Appreciate that. All right. So these are the last batch of minis that we had here, Randy, from the... And again, a whole heap of dudes. I kind of like would almost count these guys as like a... Let me see. Kind of like a troll, but I guess in whatever game world this is, they are typically blue skinned. But I don't think I'm gonna do more for like D&D tribe trolls, I think. So they got you got some of those guys. You got with swords. With it looks like there's two different poses of those, and you got these guys, which are pretty cool to take them out. I like his helmet; it's pretty dope.
That's cool.
Yeah, so we'll be able to do some fun stuff with those. But
it looks D&D size. It looks like base size. It looks like you got small, medium, large, huge, and gargantuan.
Small, medium, large, huge, and gargantuan. Yeah, so like a dragon would be like a gargantuan.
Yeah.
So
1 inch, 2 inch, 3 inch, 4 inch. And then you got half inch, which is tiny, but
yeah. So this would be huge. He would be a huge. I mean, you could put him on a large base, but on. I mean, take a look here. Right. I mean, I probably could fit him technically on that, but this was the base that they gave me for him. So. Oh.
Nice.
Oh. All right. Oh yeah, Randy, you know what time it is. All right, so we got a bunch of those. It did mention that this had 10 warriors. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 10 warriors, right? But sadly, one of them is missing an arm. Which, hey, you know, it's just an opportunity, right?
He's otherly abled.
That's right. Mofo probably going to get a robot arm or something when all said done.
Nice.
Or tentacle arm or something, right?
You have to give him one that has a trigger on it and shoots his fist out on a chain that grabs someone.
Ah, Randy, I love that idea. Please remember that and tell me that again. Because he's got like you look at these guys, they got like fists that are like that, right? And so you make that a lock and load fist like that.
Like a grappling hook.
Yes, I love that idea, Randy. That's a brilliant idea. All right. And then, you know what you got, though? You get bonus. You get some caber tossers.
What tossers? Ah.
Isn't that?
That's quite the pillar.
Yeah, caber. Caber.
I'm just saying, you're talking about tossers.
Oh. Well, they're not tossing salad, Randy.
Caber was a euphemism.
By hammer, I meant penis. Thank you for that. I appreciate that.
The hammer's not my hand.
Yeah. All right. Check out the cracks on the.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. Look at that. Check out that cleavage.
Turgid.
Yeah. So it's got 3 of those. Now 2 of these are I don't know what happened to them. They got these were professionally painted.
Oh.
So I got 2 of those. But
Colorful.
So that's 13 minis here. 20% off $15. So $10 or 8.
Nice.
$12. Yeah. So less than $1 a mini for these. They're based. The guy these have magnets on them. Because these are for like war games, right? So you'd have a sheet, like a cookie pan that you put them on for storage. I tell you what, that guy too is like some of the stuff, like here's one where he already started to put a really cool base on.
You know, it'd be cool if you had.
Can you see that right now?
Yeah. Well, that's nice. Nice picture.
And some of the stuff, like, you know, I'll get it. Like those ones, like they look like they were primed. So I think that he had actually done that. But anyways,
You
go
should
ahead.
have a setup to where you have like a cave roof or something, or just some sort of ledge situation, where you can make part of it out of metal so that you can have like bats and things hanging up, or whatever creature suspended using magnets.
Mm-hmm. I like that. That's interesting. One day, Randy, I'll do something that'll be cool.
You do cool stuff all the
I
time.
know, something that in and of itself would be cool. It'll be like, it'll be cool. This thing. That'd be neat. No,
Sorry,
I appreciate
that's
what you're
just
saying. You're right.
I want to take everything to further.
Yeah, I've seen on the interweb some people doing some really neat stuff with like battles on walls, you know, and things like that, and how you can do that as playable spaces. And it's like, ooh, yeah, I could see where it's like, oh yeah, because you can, you know, do things where you could move or you know, magnets and some stuff like that. It's like that's clever. I'm trying to think. There was one guy, he did it to where it was like vines on a castle wall, but he had a little ledge that had like basically like toothpicks, and so you could, I think, take it, just move it, and then put your mini like in any place pretty much up the wall. And was like, that's tight. That's really cool. And
what if you made like okay, do you know the oh gosh, like when they call bingo, they have the cage that the balls go in, you rolled around and the ball. So if you had that, but it was, you know, rectangular, square, whatever, but it was made of clear material, clear gridded material, so you could put your pigs in there, and depending on their abilities or whatever, you could like affix them with a magnet or something. Like you could have a small magnet on the outside and then a magnet on the figure to hold it in place. So some of them, like if they had a spell that would help hold them in place, then that would work for them. Otherwise, as you slowly turn the room, like a gravity shift situation, they would have to move. They'd have to use their movement to try to keep up with the change of direction of the room.
That's really funny.
Or if they had the ability, then they could just stick to the walls as it switched.
I was listening to a Room Hammer podcast. He does for his Patreon supporters. He calls it RPG Mainframe, and that's his podcast where he kind of does like deep thinking on stuff. And he was talking about, no, that wasn't that. This was actually his YouTube video that he did. He's going back to doing Drunkens and Dragons videos, and he did a room design video. And one of the first ones, if not the first one, I think it was a ship, and the ship rocked, and so it was doing what you were saying. And he was saying that was the dynamic of the room. It's like, that's a really fun idea for a room dynamic. Is like, you know, like on one side there's a bunch of mermen, and the mermen, if they gang rape you, it's not good, right? As opposed to all the other times when you get gang raped. But and so what happens is, like, wherever you are, either this is where you want to be or you don't want to be, and so are you going with the shift or are you not going with the shift? And it was like, yeah, that's a very fun room mechanic. And it sounds like what you're talking about is actually putting a physical sort of element to it, to where it's like a teeter-totter, right? And so like you can lock your character in the teeter-totter with a magnet if the spell, or you made your strength roll or whatever it is, and otherwise, and and everything slides.
Yeah, or like if you tied yourself to something, then you could.
Yeah, we talked about, I think, doing
position.
that too with like one of those electronic football boards, right? It's like, you know, you're experiencing an earthquake and you're playing. It's like, okay, well, okay, now let's see who you're next to, you know? But, and then, yeah, if you have a spell to where it's like somebody's going crazy, so you just have to attack who's ever close to you, you know?
One of the other ideas I had was, I can't remember what it's called, but it was an old game you had as a kid, and there were little like plus symbols and circle symbols and stuff, and you had to get them in position. You were fighting the timer, and if the timer went off, then the game popped and everything flew off.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So
it was a board like this. It had a
game dynamic.
Had a timer, and it didn't have like an asterisk and a triangle, and you had to put them all in the pieces.
Yeah, there were different symbols like that.
Yeah, and if you didn't, then it shot them up.
Yep.
Yep. Man, I haven't thought about that in eons.
That was another one where I thought about like using an old game board, a board game kind of situation as
Oh yeah.
a D&D element.
Yeah, that'd be fun. I tell you, it's like I need to try to do this. Bexham Bazaar is an online magazine, Patreon's reward thing through Tabletop Engineer and his channel, and I talked to him about doing an article for it based on, and Randy, you've done one version of this where we use Jenga board for like madness, right? And when the Jenga like collapses, that's when a player loses madness. And just even small simple things like that can be really, 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 really effective using a traditional game in a non-traditional way. That's highly recommended. So yeah, that'd be interesting. Although all I keep thinking is all the time I would spend doing a board and then having one of those underneath it, popping it, and everything get knocked over. So it would have to be something different. Although you could definitely do that with
it has to be a certain section.
Yeah, but even with all the Dwarven Forge stuff has now got like the magnets on it.
Yeah.
So you could make one of those to where those pieces weren't moving at all,
Exactly.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's a really interesting idea. That's a really fun mechanic. I like that, Randy. Use a clever man, my friend. Use a clever man. You know what? I think what do we got? All right, so we're already halfway through. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and work a little bit on our beholders, Randy. We've got our mental health minutes, and I don't know what I even had for the mental health minute today, Randy. If I had anything, can you scroll down on
Let's find out.
Yeah, on the show notes.
Where is it?
There we go.
Oop.
Oh, Live from Snack Time. We were talking about that. I thought maybe you could maybe check out Live from Snack Time and see if we had anything from there. And
that's where the kids say something.
Yeah, it's like kids say the darndest things. Carrie had been sharing this with me, and they seem to be really, really quite funny. And not only funny, but it was like, I feel like that. I agree with that kid. I think that's one of the things I like about it. It's not just that they say, where it's like, they jumble up a word. They meant to say prosecuted, and they say prostituted or something like that.
My mom prostituted. What?
My brother did that. We used to have a sign by the school. Violators will be prosecuted. Violators will be prostituted. What? Man, I'm not sure that the punishments fit in the crime, but okay. All right, here. Randy, one thing with these
which I'm trying to find out which one we want here because they've got all these different links.
Instagram was
here's a Facebook one where it has oops, well, helps if you don't accidentally close your window. Just saying.
Oh, turn that off. I thought I did. Work on turning off the air compressor. So yeah, this Live from Snack Time. Carrie's been sharing it, and it's from kids, and it can be from ages 12 to, I think, just as if they can make words, I think that they can be on this. And they are using...
It's basically the same thing, like funny things that kids say.
Yeah, kids say the darndest things, that type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But there's something about this that I find I enjoy a little bit more than I typically do with those. I don't know, maybe there's a little snark or a little hatred or a little something. There's a little more bite to it than just like, ooh, I said something funny, cutie.
All right, let's see. Here's one. I've been having a hard day for the last 2 years. It's an anonymous 4-year-old.
Yeah, anonymous 4-year-old, and they said that been having a rough 2 years.
He said I've been having a hard time for the last 2 years.
Yeah, it's been a rough go. Consciousness, not sentience. This is a tough gig, man.
I'm not digging this.
Yeah,
this self-awareness crap.
Yeah, can I go back to yeah? Oh, yes, my friend. Nihilism is exhausting. That's good. That's really nice.
I love you to pieces, but I'm not trying to break you.
Oh.
Oh.
That's nice. I love you to pieces, even though I'm not trying to break you. All right.
If hell is a bad word, then how am I supposed to tell Alexa to play Good as Hell by Lizzo?
All right. Well,
That's a
I remember when I was
5-year-old.
when I was about that age, there was a song called "Devil Went Down to Georgia"
Uh-huh.
that came out,
Yeah.
and there was the radio version, and then there was the real version. The real version, they say "son of a bitch." Told you once, you son of a gun. And,
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
on the LP or 45, he says "son of a bitch," and said bitch.
Here's the one. I will marry you. I will ride to your house in my car seat. Then you drive us to the wedding, and I'll marry you.
Wow, there's a lot going on.
Anonymous 4-year-old.
Can you give me that one more time?
I will marry you. I will ride to your house in my car seat. Then you drive us to the wedding, and I'll marry you.
I will straight up marry you right now. That's like
Is one of the comments is, I once had a sweet little boy tell me he would marry me. It stands as the best offer I've had.
oh. That other one, because that one sounds like that's somebody who's going to end up being a stalker later in life, right? I mean, that's kind of like the Tracy Morgan, like, I'm going to take her behind the middle school and get her pregnant. You know, it's like,
It was
that's a
probably
little aggressive there. It's like,
the tone that I read it in.
well, that's true. That's true. That's true. It could have been me reading into what you read into it.
It's like a threat. I'm gonna marry you.
Yeah, I'm going to love you. All shall love me in despair. All right, there, Galadriel. Just back it up a second.
You are my favorite potato.
Of all the taters.
You are the best mom in the world that I know.
Well, that I know of. I don't know. There could be.
I'm going to steal the wings off a bird, fly up, get you a star, and then give the bird back its wing.
Wow. I like it. There's a lot going on in that one. There's a lot to digest.
You are not a butthole.
You, my friend, are not a butthole. Randy, let's listen on that one if we can. I think that's a good one because I agree. You, my friend, are not a butthole.
Aw, you too.
And I was thinking that maybe that we could use this as a recurring item that when we close our mental health minute, that maybe we'll close it with a live from snack time. If you find that there's one worth sharing. And usually, we're only looking for a couple of them, a week, right? So hopefully you have a couple you can pull from. On these two things on what we're crafting here, right? So one, I have 3 sets of these beholders, and I had taped them off, and where I'd used some of the washes and stuff, it's gotten on the clear bases here. You see?
Yep.
So I'm going to try to take that off very carefully. And then also, once I do that, then I'm going to work on putting some washes on these bases and getting these started. But these had removable pieces, these guys. So like here's a tentacle that's removable. Right?
Hold on. Like Google just crashed and closed all of the browsers we had. Okay. That was odd. All right, go ahead. I'm
Hold up.
So you
Jeff,
got the different
wait a
Eyestalks
minute,
and
play
stuff.
it. He just smiled and said, yeah, duff, ain't it? All right. So, here, if you go back, there's on his head, see how I just did that?
Yep.
So, there's a corresponding one here. These things I think are marked. Just not really sure. So, let me see here.
Those are all the different effects that you got up
Yeah,
there.
so
The
I
clear
think this
pieces.
is. I think this fits in here, maybe. Yep.
Now, why are you being difficult? There you
So you can see here where I could replace it with a casting a magic beam sort of thingy, right? But I have to paint the magic beamies on all these. So I started painting up the tentacles here.
Tentacle.
And so I think that there's 4 for each. So I think there's 4 different effects. Man, these are...
Okay. When was the last time you did a review on the system?
This morning.
Okay.
There we go. I was having a hard time with that. Okay. So that's what I'm going to be working on, is removing paint off of these. Going to be doing some washes on the effects for these and the base stuff. So
cool.
That is what we have. And I would not mind talking some VR with you, Randy, when you are ready to process thought. Hey, let me just... Sorry, Koopy.
Got a little spook.
Alrighty.
Okay.
What do I want to use to take this off?
What, off of the clear base?
Yeah, I'll probably use some of my airbrush thinner, maybe. I think that would probably be pretty good. Randy, you had gotten me the big bottle of airbrush cleaner, right? I had it on my list for Christmas. I've started using it. Man, I like it so much better than the other cleaner that I was using.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I'm really liking it. And I can dilute it down with water. It's so strong. But yeah, it's really nice when I'm doing like when I'm trying to do a clean like mid-session, right? And I'm trying to just keep it from clogging. It works really good for that, which is
Nice.
Yeah, stellar. Very stellar. All right, I think a certain type of brush for this. This might be good. Yeah. What's going to be fun, Randy, is when I can gloss these pieces. I'm going to do the swappy.
This person just used Windex to remove acrylic paint from plastic.
Huh. Yeah. You can use, soap. Comes off your hands.
Yeah.
Really easy.
Yeah, old toothbrush, warm water, soap, simple green. Scrub it with a toothbrush. Huh.
All right. I'm going to put it on the swappy,
Mm-hmm.
Randy, while we're doing this, because it won't be hard for me to pay attention what's on camera. So if we're out of frame, wait, and hopefully we should be coming back in sometime soon. Yeah, because the thing is, actually what I should have done, well, yeah, before I took the the masking tape off, I should have sprayed this with a fixant, because that's what I need to do next. Is before I do some of the remaining pieces on it, I want to actually seal it before I put the glosses on. I'll seal it all with a mat and then gloss up with a brush, the eyeballs and the teeth and stuff like that. Oh, good news, this is working. And it isn't like it's coming off with like one touch, which makes me scared, like, if I accidentally touch something. That's why I thought this thinner might be good.
This person's saying he has a lot of experience with removing paint from miniatures and stuff.
Yeah, it depends.
He's like, here's all the things you've been told. Please ignore all of them. Simple green.
Yeah, and that's like talking about like with those the caber tossers that we'd shown. Like if I wanted to strip those down.
Yeah.
That's where I see a lot of people would say like simply green, or I think. And that guy's like, yes. Screw all that.
Moms, sisters, daughters, aunts, or your own nail polish remover. Brake fluid, mentholated spirits, elbow grease. We'll ignore all of that, please.
Well, he's saying those are the things to ignore.
Those are things that you see a lot of people recommend, and he's saying, please ignore all of that.
Please stop.
Don't do it.
All right, trying to be careful along the base here. Some of these on this thing, I'm just going to scrape it with a blade.
Isopropyl alcohol he recommends.
I have some of that handy as well.
Ideally 99+%.
Oh yeah, the good stuff. Primo. You've got some primo isopropyl here.
Yeah, a lot of times what you get in the store is 70%. They will often have 90 as well for an additional cost. And occasionally you can find the 99%.
All right, here you are, dude. Work pretty good.
Yeah, nice.
And then there's a couple places up close that I want to scrape. I just don't want to have to get all. It was starting to foam. I didn't want the foaming action, the scrubbing bubbles action happen. And I think that might have been the most egregious one. Yeah, and this one actually, I got some spots that I'd covered up that didn't get paint. I don't know if I can even see here.
Are you wearing gloves? Are you wearing a mask? Are you doing it in a well-ventilated area? Hey, just do it for a couple of hours at a time, not like 8+. And don't drink the damn stuff, for God's sakes.
Here, Rady. One nice thing, you can actually see some of the color variation here when I turn this thing upside down.
Oh, nice.
But you can see the white spot here. And that's where it got covered with tape. So all the stuff that I was doing, I didn't get that. So I'll have to touch those up manually. Won't be a big deal.
Cool.
Washes will. And it's going to be, it's
yeah,
only, you only see it when you turn it upside down. But this just has a couple small
once you kill
spots.
it, you knock it over so it's laying on the ground. Then
That's true. That's a good thing, though. It's like when you think the bottom of bases. You just see the bottom of a base more than you think you would. So let me get a little bit of phenol on here. Yeah, that's right.
What?
You were talking about Dragon Age and mounts, and I wanted to make a mount the taint joke. Can you mount the taint? You can mount anything with taints. I have a taint. Can you mount me?
Yesterday was Random Acts of Kindness Day. I did mine today.
You did it today by giving me a bagel. And you know what my random act of kindness was?
What?
Not eating it on the stream. You're welcome.
You're welcome, people. And today is Battery Day.
But I wanted to say, I'm really looking forward to eating it. I can't wait to saying goodbye to everybody so I can start putting that thing in my mouth hole. So thank you for it.
Oh, you're welcome.
Okay, I think that other one's already done. This one's already done.
Sweet.
But this one I'll have to do the touch up on the bottom, so it's going to be a little bit of work there. And then I got one more.
Today's battery day.
Today is battery day.
Yeah, and I'm not going to click on it to find out what the day is actually about. I'm just going to assume. So I'm sorry I don't have any batteries with me right now, so I can't like gift you a battery. So instead I'll just have to rely on physical violence. I apologize.
Have you ever
So
okay.
remind me to beat the crap out of you later.
Wow. Okay.
To celebrate battery day.
I see that violence, and I will and meet you in kind with using batteries as a form of violence. You ever
throw batteries at you to batter you with batteries?
Oh man, a sock full of D cells.
Oh,
oof. You would kill. You would kill somebody, right?
Sock full of pennies. Sock full of batteries. Yeah. Oh.
Well, it's like
on a lighter note. This is humor. Hey. We're joking. Don't batter anybody. If you are being battered, please seek help. There are resources out there. But on a lighter note,
yeah,
we're gonna celebrate Battery Day by battering each other.
There's a joke, Randy, about how many battered people there are, battered significant others, and here all this time I've been eating them raw. Yeah, I like that one. Yeah, we don't condone that, but yeah, you would kill a mofo with a sock full of D cells.
Yeah.
There's another joke, Randy. It's
these are some weird holidays.
Guy sees a guy with a black eye. He's like, "Hey, where'd you get the black eye from?" He said, "My girlfriend." And he says, "Well, what did she do?" He's like, "She hit me with a sock full of quarters." So what'd you do that for? I called her a 2-bit whore. And for those of you that are too young to know, 2-bit means quarter. So therefore, the joke is implying she had all these quarters. So maybe. Yeah, jokes are never funny when you have to diagram them out. All right, so that was extremely effective, Randy, of removing that wash off of these. I'm gonna give them a second to dry, and I think I'm gonna go ahead and start on some of these effects. I need to sort these out and classify them, Randy. You could actually maybe help me with this. I need some help with some color choices for some of these different effects.
Yeah.
So I'm going to sort these, and I think there's 3 sets of 4. So there's this really long one here. And it's funny, these kind of remind me of old Christmassy bulbs that we used to have. See, these are really similar, but different. Okay. That one, 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 that one. Okay. So we've got the electric bolt one thing here, and I'll give you something to use here. So here we'll actually do it at 50 for this. Here you go, Randy. So this is one. So we got the lightning bolt, right?
Nice.
And we've got the long beam, right? Coming at ya. Oh boy, I'm gonna get ya. So you got that, the long beam. And then these two that are very similar, right? You've got the short beam, right?
Just girthier than the long beam.
Yes, it is. Shower, not a grower. And then you've got the short beam with a little flare. Now it's
Is that the spirit beam? Because it's got spirit.
This one, Randy, it goes
little
like when
flare.
it's cast, whereas this one's kind of like. So this one's. And that other one, it's like. He's got a little zizzle cock, right? And that's where you get
Zizzlecock. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, that's yeah. Yep. Roll to see if you resist zizzlecock. Nope. That zizzlecock is all up in your biz. All up in the biz with the ziz. So back to color choices.
You don't want to roll the critical failure when you're facing the zizzlecock.
Oh, that's bad. That's bad news. That is bad news. Bad. All right, let me see here, Randy. So I've kind of got these. So these are the short zizzles. These are without zizzles. Short without. These are long beams that got zizzles. And then this is just lightning cracklings. So we are going to want to use some washes for inks. For these. So I've got some yellows that we could use maybe for the lightning. Or what do you think? I'd like to what I'd like to do is I like to have two colors, right? I'd like to transition, so like maybe one's like a blue to a green, maybe one's like a blue to a yellow. You know what I mean?
Let me come over there and take a look.
Yeah. All right. Listeners of Edition Through Distraction, you are in for a treat as Randy comes over and takes a look at these. And you can actually sit down here if you want. We'll do a little swappy swappy.
What's your
So so these are the four groups here, right?
Mm-hmm.
You got the lightning bolt, you got these. So I think that I'll do each of these types the same, right? So I'm thinking that I want to transition a collar at the base to the tip. So I'll need two collars for each one, right? So I could do like a blue to a green, maybe a blue to a yellow. I can do even just a single collar, but just a gradient. We found those effective when we were doing the crystals.
What are the effects? So I would look at what the effects are and then decide the colors from that.
Well, they could.
So if it was one of them was like a lightning bolt or something, then I would use probably like blue and white, possibly a light translucent purple element in there.
Do you want to do me a favor and look up what the spells that beholders can cast? So what I did with these is I gave them, there's 10 of them, and so I gave them, it's a little bit different variations, I think, what the eyes can be. I went with
Makes sense.
red, yellow, blue, green, orange, purple, right? So you follow me on those, right? The primaries and the secondaries.
Okay.
There is a brown eye. There's a black eye.
Oh.
There's a pink eye. And then there's the metallic eye. And which on mine looked like a pearl. And so those are the 10 that I went with. But so
let's see. Spells, raise. 5.
Yeah, that's not a bad thought. Yeah, because it's like one of these is like fire, then.
Yeah.
And so that's probably what this is. This is probably fire.
So here we go. I raise 10. Charm, paralyzing, fear, slowing, innervation, telekinetic, sleep, petrification, disintegration, and death. So none of them are like elemental, really. They're all more you have to use your imagination unless there is a certain D&D thing that says that a paralyzing ray is a certain color.
Well,
which is possible.
Yeah. So is any of them flame?
No.
Okay.
There's no elementals.
So and one of them's not lightning.
Nope.
Okay. So we can
I mean, you could say the disintegration ray was maybe look like but you could say anything really.
So
although
let me ask you this:
when you see some things, because we're so accustomed to some things being certain colors, so when you see one, you may assume that that color means it's a certain type. So
Yeah, that's so. If you look at the eyes, and they have different colors. What are the different effects for the different eyes? So if we like picked,
yeah, so
like
there's
if we picked like lightning bolt, what out of the 10 effects that you listed,
Yeah.
which one do you think would be best accompanied for the lightning bolt?
so hold on.
You're
Taking
following
3
that-
necrotic damage.
That line of thinking.
What is innervation and necrotic? Huh. Okay.
And while we're doing this, I'm gonna go ahead and
So I would probably say disintegration would probably be the lightning. That seems to make sense. Although
I think maybe the long beam with the crackle is the disintegration, because it's kind of maybe the most aggressive of the beams. Here's the two different.
innervation.
What disintegration? What is color? What color is that? Is it? Does it say?
Hold on a sec. It doesn't here. That's why I need to.
That's what I was having a hard
See it
time
on
finding,
the
like a
image, right?
one-to-one match, and I didn't really care enough to
Okay.
make it canon on one source or another.
D&D.
I want to get me a little bit of. For a little spot to work here. Alright, watch this. Ink.
What? That's bullcrap.
Ink. Alright. So here's our inks that we have to work with. We got black, but I don't think we're going to need that to, at least not to start off with. We got blues and purples and reds. So we can go from a purple to red.
Yep. Okay, that's what I thought. Some of the effects do have a D&D color. They're spelled out within the description of the spell.
Mm-hmm.
So disintegrate is a
Awesome.
thin green ray
Mm-mm.
springing from your pointing finger to a target you can see within range. Yep. So a thin green ray is disintegration or disintegrate.
Okay.
Let me put this over here.
This is very helpful.
Charm.
You don't have to sound so surprised, Ronald. Felt like I'd never be cheerful again.
Charm.
And I'm going to pop out for a second while you do that. I'm going to put on the BRB.
Iridescent pearl or sparkly pearl or clear.
Welcome back, everybody. So Randy was still looking at, and which one did you think that was, Randy?
For charm, I'm not seeing a color associated with that. And there's a bunch of different charm spells because it breaks it out between charm monster, charm human, charm whatever.
Okay.
But I'm just doing a quick perusal here. I'm not seeing any reference to color for it. So I was suggesting, like, you think charm maybe like some sparklies or iridescent quality to it. So like an iridescent pearl or something translucent with sparkles or something maybe.
Yep, I'm with you on that.
Okay.
Because we used, I think, what was that, metal medium, right? And that's what we were using on our, there it is, actually right here, our guy here. So I think we can get translucent with sparkly effects by doing that.
Yeah. I think I got you a couple different effect mediums. I can't remember which one. That was one of them. And
yeah, it's got a chipping medium, a glaze medium, a matte varnish, a gloss varnish, and a metal medium that's over here.
I was thinking I got you one that had sparkles and one that was more just like metallic sheen. But maybe not sparkles.
Yeah, there was one that you had too. I think you had one that was separate from these. That was like an opalescent.
Yeah, because I had gotten myself some.
Yeah, and I think you had one that was like an opalescent or something. It was a different name, but largely the same thing.
Yeah.
It seems like with the metal mediums, you're getting more like a metal fleck, whereas with an opalescent, you're getting more of that kind of like the color shift thing. And that's the thing too, is I actually got some of these color shift paints. That's what I was using to some degree on our beholders, and so those are pretty groovy.
Sorry.
So Randy, this is what I'm thinking, and unless you tell me otherwise here, I think I'm going to do each one of these. I'm going to do a blue, a green, a purple, and a red, and I'm going to feather them out to the tips to a yellow. Each of those independently. I think that'll be something. But
okay, so the paralysis is a thin blue ray.
Paralysis is a thin blue ray. Okay.
According to this.
Okay.
That's from the Wand of Paralysis. I'm just doing Google searches real quick for D&D spell name and color. I'm
just trying to think which ones I would want, because you said none of them are flame, so I don't want these small one that looks like flame to be like a flame. So I'm gonna make that maybe purple. I'll make this long one the green one, and then this one the thin blue one, and then the lightning. I don't want it to be lightning, so I'll make that one actually red to yellow. So, okay, I think I got something to work with for this. I need to make me some of the washes. So let's start here with some acrylic foreglass.
It doesn't look like Fear has a color. It's actually a cone. Or at least this one is.
And I'm using some of this acrylic floor glass because it seems to help this ink grip to these plastics.
Oh, this says you're projecting a phantasmal image of a creature's worst fears. So if you think kind of like a smoky, misty, swirly sort of situation going on there with phantasmal, possibly some grays, purples, clear, opalescent.
I'm worried about trying to mix too many colors. I'm afraid I'm going to get them all brown. If I do,
you don't want to mix all the colors together.
Yeah, if I do alternate versions, once I'm still trying to learn how to paint this clear plastic.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm doing good with just doing a transition, but I hear what you're saying. It's just providing feedback of why I probably won't try something quite that aggressive.
But potentially you could like do a little squiggly line down it of one color, or or just do a very light dry brush highlight where you're just getting the high parts a different color. Let's see. Okay.
All right. And we'll do a roll. Whippy schwappy back camera.
This does not list a color for slow. That's weird.
There was a couple of experiences in the Vader game that I want to mention, but I don't want to until you've experienced them. That is just like, so I'll try to speak vaguely about just, I'm excited about VR and the possibilities that it affords.
Mm-hmm.
I was playing one of the demos, I don't remember what it was that it came with, and it was just like, well, it appeared that they were definitely inspired by Zelda, the Switch version of Zelda, because they had your uniform looked a lot like it, but it made me, it's like, I want to play the Nintendo Switch game in VR. And the thing that's exciting is that since it wasn't done on a high-end system, you could potentially, it's well suited to be one of the first games like that could get, potentially ported.
Like, I think there's probably a large drawback there with the open world kind of situation with VR, because right now I'm not sure if they have any open world situations, but like everything is still kind of stripped down graphically to help it run better,
right?
And they try to, like, maybe a lot of the stuff is trying to keep you on a strict path as opposed to being in an open world situation.
Yeah, see, that's the thing.
As well as dialing down the graphic quality.
The Nintendo Switch isn't 4K, and that's why I'm saying is it requires fewer. And that's again what I was saying about like how they had made some design choices, right? So you got this really highly stylized, pretty game, and it was as pretty as it needed to be, right? But it was, cognizant of its own limitations, and that went into some of the design, reason for the design.
Yeah.
And I think
the innervation ray is necrotic damage, so it's a tentacle of dark energy reaches out to touch an enemy, doing necrotic damage. Dark energy, purples, blacks, grays.
Well, this is what we started with. I don't know what we're gonna up that red and let it feather out to the tip. So I'll do that with these other ones. And we go from there. We continue to go from there. All right. But yeah, it was like, ooh, yeah, I could see where.
The telekinetic ray might just want to leave clear.
Well, I don't have all the spells. Like, I would only have 4. Each one would only have 4. So we would only be picking 4 of the... You know what I mean?
You have a lot more than 4.
Each beholder is only going to get 4.
Yeah, but I mean the pieces you have available to paint.
Yeah, but I'm saying is if one of these represented it, unless it represented something different on each one.
Did it come with 10?
I bought a beholder. A beholder comes with 4 extra.
I thought I had that 4 extra. So how many are there?
There's 10. There's 10. 4 of them can be replaced.
Okay. So you got 6 that stay,
Yeah.
or whatever they are,
Yes.
and then
Yep.
several that can
Yep.
be switched out.
Yes. I'm sorry. Yep. Correct. So
Or
I
no,
mean, you could
there's
do it
6.
a lot of different ways, but in my mind, I was thinking
So you've got
if I was to think about 4 of the
spells,
spells, what would 4 of those spells potentially be?
Mm-hmm.
What would the colors for those 4 potentially be?
Mm-hmm.
But instead of going literal, I just we knew that one was not flame, so I wanted to make sure that the one that kind of looked like flame, I just didn't make it look like it's shooting fire out of its eyeball. And same thing, since one of them isn't straight up lightning.
Yeah, that's because you're gonna assume that that's what that is if it looks like it.
Yeah, that's what my phrase. So I'm making it purple,
Yeah.
And then the one that's lightning bolt, I'll make it red. Or, well, I was going to make it red. Now I'm making it something else.
So I was talking about PlayStation VR's Doctor Who.
Yeah.
Edge of Time.
Mm-hmm.
I was running into a lot of problems with getting turned around and wound up in my cord, and getting out of bounds of the play area, because with the PS4 you don't define your own area with like you do with the Oculus Rift. Your area is defined by the camera and its placement, and I forget what the area it is capable of capturing is, but there is a certain limit.
Yep.
And also because it uses the camera and the lights on the headset and the motion controllers to do the tracking. Brightness of the room and backlighting can cause issues. If there's anything else in the background that has a light, could potentially throw it off a little bit, depending. Okay. So we had to darken the room. I had to put up some some drapes.
Did your brother seem to have a fun experience?
Yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah,
that's good. Because you had to do a lot of work and be kind of.
He didn't see. I did that one after he went to bed. I stayed up and checked checked that one out. It would still be, it's his first time being in VR, I think. So I've always done some stuff with the camera, like one of the cheap.
The Xbox.
Where you put your phone in.
Oh, okay. No, I got you. Yeah, I'm thinking something.
Yeah.
Else. Okay, yeah.
Oh. But the other issues with it were that, I kept getting tangled in the cord a bit and turned around. So that's another thing where something to help you maintain your certain direction would have been beneficial for the PS4, because it uses the light tracking and the camera. It needs to be able to see your hand movements and stuff.
Yeah.
You have to be facing the right direction for that. So.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have to be facing the camera. Whereas with the Rift, is it? Oculus Rift?
Quest is what.
Quest?
Yeah.
Quest. That it uses the cameras on there to track your hands, so you don't have to worry about being turned a certain way because it's attached to you.
Yeah.
And so wherever you are is where the camera is looking.
And I had just messed with your system just a little bit, but I immediately started to fall in love with being untethered.
Yeah.
And it's just like,
it is a huge benefit.
Yeah.
Now there's some things potentially where you might have some lag issues a little bit, or some sluggishness, or things might not work quite the same way with.
And then to play the
untethered.
Steam VR, I mean, I would have to be tethered to do those.
Yeah.
Although I guess you can do some of those. I guess you can do. There are some streaming options.
Yeah, that thing I sent you was talking about.
But lots lag.
You can either do it linked, or there's a way to do it streaming. But yeah, there was laggier or whatever.
Yeah, it's gonna be laggy.
And then also with a wireless, you're probably going to have a bit less resolution on some of the stuff, possibly. And then you got to worry about battery life and stuff. As well.
Yep.
But the benefit of being wireless in that situation and having that additional awareness of space and room to move around.
Yeah, and what's just so exciting is it's like I'm not telling everybody go out and get an Oculus Quest.
Yeah.
But I am so excited that we're at this point with it,
Mhm.
because it just means that it's going to get lighter, smaller, easier, and it's going to get to where it will be. It's like the first time I had it on for like, 3 minutes. I'm like, holy crap, Ready Player One is going to be a real thing.
Yeah.
It's like, wow, this is something else.
Yeah, we were talking about how, I mean, these are both kind of entry level VR.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
Systems. The high end ones are tethered. As far as I know, I don't know if there's any wireless high end ones. Because for high end, they want the high definition and the lack of screen dooring, which is where it feels like there's. That was another thing with the Doctor Who one, was it suffered from screen dooring pretty badly for me anyway.
Yeah.
I felt like I had a cloth over my head that I was looking through for a lot of it. Other aspects of it were really cool. Looked really nice. Like you open and you're in a laundromat, and I was like, fuck, I really feel like I'm in a laundromat right now. But you look around and then some of the stuff looks really cool and other stuff is like seem to be getting some screen dooring kind of.
I got when I was in Vader Immortal, like, you know how you're mentioning it's like a story game, right? And so like, don't go in here and start exploring, because you're gonna be like, disappointed.
Yeah.
And then to the point to where it'll start to break down some of the illusion, because like I went up to a wall where I wasn't supposed to go, and it was all pixely, like Doom first level, first iteration of Doom pixely, and it was just like, oh, and because you're just seeing like, well, this is some of the concessions that they're making, right?
Yeah.
But they're giving you really cool experiences that you haven't had before, so it's like, okay, all right, I got it. But it is interesting.
Yeah.
So you said that you the Doctor Who, you were getting a lot of screen dooring on?
Yes. And also there's two different ways you can move. You can do the kind of point click movement.
Teleport.
Basically, yeah. Where you use your controller and it shows like an arc and a circle with an X in it, and that's where that moves depending on, how you move your controller. You can change how far that the arcs and hits the ground, shows with a circle with an X in it. That's where you're going to be moving when you click the button. So you got that, and then if you use the other controller, there's a button you can push, and that will like move you forward in the direction that you're looking.
Okay. Yep.
But the movement is slow.
Yeah.
It wasn't too much of an issue at other time, but there were times where it was like, oh god, okay, it's so freaking slow. Why can't I just run through this area or whatever? And then there were some other issues with it. Oh, yeah, it's the new Doctor, and it's her accent, and I just it started.
You haven't seen any episodes with her yet, have you?
I have.
Oh, you have?
Yeah, I saw, I think 2 seasons with her in it. At least the first season of her. I think I may have seen a second season of her. I'm 1 or 2 seasons behind, though, I believe. But her accent started grating on my nerves, which is unfortunate. But it's kind of like, and I don't remember what accent she's going for exactly, and what socioeconomic regional aspect that represents of Britain. But like, I imagine it would be kind of like and I'm not trying to be judgmental, I'm just trying to talk about like accents here, but like a Southern hick, like
the equivalent of an American.
Yeah, American Southern hick.
Okay.
Would be the equivalent, I think, kind of.
Yeah.
Or like if the Doctor was just doing Cockney, like a full-on Cockney the whole time, it just gets a little grating after a while.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hello.
Hers isn't Cockney, because I think Cockney is the actual like historic London accent. And then you've got proper, proper. Your M50 needs your M50 needs a little zhuzhing.
Thank you.
Yeah. I forget what it's called. Learned something. It's the Queen's English. Received. I think it's called Received Pronunciation. RP. Received Pronunciation English. It's like the Queen's English.
Okay. Yep. Probably.
So you would think maybe that was London accent, but that's not. It's actually Cockney, I believe.
Cockney is London's accent.
Yeah, it's traditional.
Which is crazy that
historic or whatever. I can't think of the right word I'm looking for.
It's so small, and yet accents are so huge.
Yeah. That is what's crazy is like the size of Britain compared to the United States and the amount of accents, regional dialects and things.
I was watching a show with a couple like people, and I don't know who they are because they're British famous people. I mean, some of them I do and some I don't, but I recognize these people, but I don't remember who they were. And they were doing like, hey, okay, here's an accent I'm doing, and they would say, oh, you're doing a, it's this, but it's like for them it would be like, oh, you're that neighborhood. It's like, you're not just doing like this city, you're doing a this side of this city, kind of thing. And it's just like, that's crazy. And
it's to the point where there's words that are used. Like it'd be counties for us.
Yeah.
It's a different county to us in Ohio, but to them they have a whole different language.
Yeah, it's a whole nother world.
Like there'll be certain words that they use that the other person is like, what the hell are you talking about?
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. It's like some of the places like still speak Gaelic, right?
In Ireland.
Is it only in Ireland?
What's the that's Gaelic.
Welsh? Is there Scottish?
I don't know I think Welsh is based on Gaelic, but I can't remember. It's not the same as Gaelic, I don't think.
But they've got that, where they're talking and you're like, I don't know what you're saying at all. It's like, we're talking about that old English or Middle English, how far back in time can you go before you can't communicate?
I think it was
like there's places you can go here you can't communicate.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
But that was if you're living in London right now and you went back
and to London
in time in London
to London.
How far back in time could you go and still have communication or still have a conversation with somebody? And I think it was like 200 years was the max, I think.
That's interesting. All right, so I got these started.
So United Kingdom. I need an image of this. Let's see. Oh wow, yeah. I'm going to show you this. It's an overlay of Britain over part of the United States.
Oh yeah. Because Britain's about the size of Texas, isn't it? I've tried to get an equivalent, but it's hard because
this right here.
Well, because you got the United Kingdom versus England, right? So this is
it's part of Texas.
Now is that the United Kingdom or just Britain? That's just Britain, right?
This is Britain right here, and this is like Wales, Cornwall. Well, okay, this is England, and then you got Wales and Cornwall and Ireland, and then Scotland's up here.
Also, that is the entire United Kingdom.
So yeah, this is United Kingdom.
Man. So it's about the size of like. It's like the size of like Indiana and Illinois.
It's a lot smaller than Texas.
Yeah, that's funny.
If you scrunched it up, it could easily fit.
Texas here?
It's like half the size of Texas, maybe.
I'm having a hard time finding
if that.
Where's Texas?
So this line here, this should be the Rio Grande, so that defines the bottom, and then the Panhandle's up here, and then there. So, it's way smaller than Texas.
A third of Texas.
That's one of our states. So, that's so crazy.
Yeah, that's what they say is the difference between America and England, right? Is that in England. 200 miles is a long distance, and in America, 200 years is a long time. I find those things to be very true, and at least the media that I consume from those places.
It's like, look at, and it's not even just regional dialects, it's total other languages, like Gaelic or Scottish. And I can't remember either. What's the base of Scottish? Is Scottish a basis of Gaelic, or I knew all this shit at one time. Can't remember anything anymore. Here, do it this way. Gaelic languages. It helps if you can spell too.
Can you move that to the other monitor?
No, deal with it. Okay. Oops.
If you're looking at that, I want to make sure that can.
So you go. I know. I'm just messing with you. So Gaelic language is also known as. Never seen that word before. Goidelic branch, also known as the Goidelic branch, or something along those lines. Goidel or Delic. One of the two branches of the modern Celtic languages. The other branch, spoken to the south, Brythonic, includes Welsh, Cornish, and Breton, or Breton. 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 The Gaelic languages originated in Ireland and Dalriada on the west coast of Scotland. But anyway, so you've got all the different regional dialects and stuff, to the point where they may not be able to understand each other very well. Like, what the hell are you talking about?
I'm sorry, Randy.
As well as different regional dialects.
Oh, yeah.
There's so many of them, and they can be so extreme that the other person would be like, I can't understand what the hell you're saying.
You know why? Because I live 2 blocks away.
Yeah.
So it's a completely different world.
And as well as having total other language.
Yeah. I mean, and because of being so close to Europe,
something
too.
That's like half the size of Texas.
Yeah.
It's just cannot compute.
Yeah, and then how multicultural it is.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing, and it's part of why America is so American.
Yeah.
Is that we're so isolated from everything.
Yeah, they have that's another thing about like why Americans are so dumb about learning other languages a lot of the time.
Yeah.
It's because we're not surrounded by it.
Yeah, we just don't have. Yeah, it's
we don't have the same access to hearing all this different.
Yeah, or the need, right?
Yeah, that
like
too.
Who am I going to be speaking Chinese to? You know, I didn't know anybody Chinese growing up. Yeah. You know. And
these are generalizations. We don't know.
No, I mean you could. Yeah, I mean
No, I mean from what I was saying about anything I'm saying about England right now. I could be wrong. If you're English and you're listening to this and you're like, I don't know what the fuck you're probably right.
Do you in fact finding?
Yeah.
These are just random thoughts that we're having, and just trying to have honest dialogue, and that causes us to say some things that might be inaccurate, but. All right, so we've got purples. All right, another blue here. We're making some progress here, Randy, on our guys. I mean, where did I put the blue? Blue.
So the Doctor Who thing is kind of, it's got some puzzles in it and stuff that you have to try to figure out. And some of them are pretty interesting. They did tend to get a bit annoying at times because there's somebody that's giving you direction on something, like giving you hints if you are taking a while to figure something out potentially, but she'll keep repeating herself, or she says something that you've already done a while ago. She'll just say it then. It's like, yeah, I know, I've already taken care of that. So she doesn't have any concept of where you are. A bit. She has a bit of a concept of where you are in the puzzle, but otherwise not really.
Yeah, that can be. It pulls out the realism, right? And then it just feels like it's just done poorly, and
yeah. So it does unfortunately feel to me as if it is something they kind of cobbled together to have a Doctor Who VR situation instead of really putting a lot of.
They cash grabbed on the IP, unfortunately,
and some of the reviews were saying that there was a lot of stuff within the game, like not necessarily Easter eggs, but items that maybe had some relevance.
Yeah.
So say like, you know, you see a bow tie, or you see
the scarf, Tom Baker's scarf.
Yeah, stuff like that.
Says
That were sprinkled throughout.
Yeah, and that would, that would have a nice. I mean,
Yeah.
especially if you were going through the TARDIS and you saw those things. I mean, that's a lot of what this stuff is. I can see already. It's like, guys, you're gonna have to give me something more than unplugging something and plugging it into something else.
Yeah.
But I did find in the Vader Immortal that they were making me do some of that stuff in ways I was like, this is fun. But
Yeah.
I mean,
well, here's the other thing too. I think I would have had a lot more fun with it, and it would have been a lot more seamless had I not had the issues with being, getting turned around away from the
Sure.
camera, and problems with being too close or too far from the camera, and getting tangled in the cord and all of that. If that would have been a huge improvement had I not had to deal with those issues.
one of the things I was finding with the
But there was also some loading time in between scenes that was annoying. Go ahead, sorry.
No, I can see how all of that stuff, right? It goes into all those user experience things go into.
Yeah, it just takes you out of the story. And
Yeah. With the untethered experience, one of the things I noticed that if I was, it's cool, but like if you're near the restricted play area, it puts up this like grid, holodeck grid. So you can see, you're getting close to it.
Yeah, this had that a bit. Mm-hmm.
And that
was helpful.
Yeah, and it can be.
It was also annoying.
Unless you're in a spot to where I can't move, and now I keep seeing the grid, and I have to pretend I can't see the grid because I can do the thing that I'm trying to do.
Yep, I ran into that.
But, you
got to resituate yourself.
Yeah, and what's nice, though, is that I think that that's something that very quickly...
Yes.
You just do a couple hip shifts, and that's what's nice by not being tethered is you can move yourself,
Yeah.
But
and I was trying to think of ways to try to remove the cord from the situation by like having something like if you could rig something up on the ceiling to put the cord above you.
Yeah.
As long as it had some range of motion to it, so you weren't like, it wasn't too tight or something.
Yeah.
It still had like some sort of spring arm situation or something.
I mean, I think ideally, right, it would be kind of, I think, like that Ready Player One, right? You're suspended so you can have the weightlessness,
well,
right?
Ideally, yeah.
And so then that cord could be part and parcel with that.
Yeah, if you were suspended in place and could still move around the environment, then it wouldn't be an issue. It's the moving around that causes the problem with the cord.
True. But I'm saying, you could have systems like that they wouldn't have to be untethered. I was just thinking out loud.
Yeah. I somehow apparently closed your
show notes
you had open over here.
Oh, that's okay.
And
there's no worries. We're getting towards the end of this. I'm going to finish putting the greens on these and then put the yellows on. We're going to go a little bit long. You said you were available to do so.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm thinking. I'm excited to see what your thoughts on the.
We need to talk about movie night and hangout night afterward.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Are you having D&D?
I don't know. I think D&D is this week. I haven't talked to the characters. I need to make sure we're still a go. I think we are.
Cool.
And then based on some of the feedback we get about some of the life-changing events that Shay was referring to, we'll determine potentially movie night.
Cool. Hopefully that works out for Shay.
Yeah, hoping the best for our friend. Okay, I think that's pretty good there. I don't want to go too far.
All right, I don't need that.
All right. Yep. Let's see. There's this YouTube channel that I kind of love and hate at the same time. And it's about personality traits a lot of times. Like, I was watching this one about how to spot a narcissist sort of thing. But there was also like, how to be more confident or how to portray, do these 4 things to be more confident.
Yeah.
And this guy usually he'll base it on something. One he had that I thought was really interesting was how to handle conflict in a conversation when somebody's being confrontational with you. And he took a time when Robert Downey was being asked some questions about his past in a very shifty sort of way.
Yeah, like they were trying to stir the pot and cause some situations or something. Elicit a response.
Yeah, and he handled it in like extremely well done way. And so, and also I've seen him where it shows how Russell Brand handles conflict in those types of situations. And so, you know, this is a little bit problematic. Sorry, it's causing me to focus on a little bit more than I intended. I was watching this one, and it was talking about how to be more charismatic, and it was basing it off of Henry Cavill's Geralt character. That was who they're. How you can be more confident. I didn't watch it, but I just caught that part that the beginning was that's who they were basing it on was.
That's humorous.
Was him. And I was trying to. I didn't know they do this thing because that's like they want you to. These are the things that we're going to tell you, but I can't tell you them right now because why would you watch the video? And which there's a part that feels disingenuous, but again, love hate. And I was trying to imagine what those would be. So maybe you can help play that exercise with me right now, Randy. Is what do you think some of those things that they might have said
about
why do you? I mean, I guess first off, do you consider his character to portray confidence?
Proper pronunciation.
Geralt.
Portraying confidence. Like he doesn't give a shit about what anybody thinks.
Yeah, when he does it. Yeah. So maybe one of them is portraying as if you do not care.
Yeah, he wants to do what's right. I think, but like he's so
sometimes
used to being like everybody being like, "Oh, there's a monster! Please save us! It's your job! Save us, you piece of shit!" You know, and then every other time, "Oh, there's no monster here! Get out of here, you piece of freak!" kind of stuff.
It is kind of
everybody constantly being an asshole to him, basically, and thinking down about him.
Yeah, it's kind of like you'll hear like cops talk about that, right? Like it's like
why weren't you doing your job? What the hell are you doing
everybody's
here?
like F the police, but when somebody breaks into your house, who you
Make up your
calling,
mind.
right? It's that kind of thing. So I never thought about it, but yeah, he definitely has that sort of thing of like. And then it is and especially I think because they do the thing where it's like we're not bidding of like this is next week, this is a week later, we don't know how much time has passed, and it allows for his character to have so many his personality can be more varied to me, and it makes sense, right? Because I don't know where he's gone. I don't know what adventures he had. I don't know why he would be angry in this one or compassionate, or I don't know. There's something about it that I'm finding really interesting and compelling.
How far are you into it?
About 5.
There's only 6, isn't there? I forget.
Well, then I'm real close to the end then.
Yeah. Wizard series. Oh, well, okay. That'll work.
All right. Now I'm going to move on to these yellows. Make sure we get a clean.
Just saw the previews for it. Now it makes me want to see it again.
What's that?
For Witcher.
Oh.
I pulled it up in my Netflix, and it's auto playing the preview.
Yeah, I think I'm going to end up playing Witcher 3. I think I'm going to have to end up getting into that. I'm kind of in the mood for a deep RPG kind of experience. I think when I finish Jedi Ginger, that might be my next go-to. All right, let me see if I can find a little spot here for some yeller. Your wash is yeller.
I mean, okay, it looks like there's 8 episodes in the first season.
There's 8 in the first one?
That's what it's showing here.
Yeah, so I may maybe through 6. Trying to think of what I could mention. There's a girl character, right? Who's pretty pivotal.
Which one?
There is a young female child girl
Yes.
character, and she encounters some people and has to make a choice whether to stay with them or not.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I'm at, just that she's made that choice. Does that help?
Yep.
That's where I'm at.
Are you talking about a hard choice that is very much a thing that she has to make this choice, or?
Yeah, I mean, I think someone's
yeah.
like someone from her past says, "Come on, it's time to come home," and she has to decide whether she's going to come home or not.
Yeah. Okay.
That's where I'm at.
Oh, when I was at my brother's, we watched a movie called Warrior.
Uh-huh.
And it is with Tom Hardy, and I can never remember who played the older brother. I can't remember that actor's name. Nick Nolte played the father. Let's see here. IMDb. 2011. Oh, this is a Wikipedia. Sports drama film. Joel Edgerton. So they're brothers, estranged. They're both kind of estranged from the father. There is an alcoholism element there. But it's about them fighting for various reasons. In like what was it, MMA? No, not MMA. What's a cage fighting?
MMA.
Is it?
Mixed martial arts.
Oh, okay, yeah. I think there's another word I'm looking for though.
Cage fighting.
No, but that's what it is. So it's about they fight and they end up fighting in that a competition, in that style.
Blood sport.
Really.
There was a movie called
But
Blood
it
Sport with
ends
Van
up
Damme. That's pretty much kind of
it ends up being a really good movie.
cool.
I was kind of leery to watch it. I'm not really.
Yeah.
I even said like this isn't really my genre or whatever that I'm interested in watching. But it was really well done, and all of those actors did an amazing job.
That's cool. Yeah,
So,
I appreciate when you get something that's outside of what you're.
yeah, I think Tom Hardy always does a good job.
You know what I have to say to that? It's my favorite Tom Hardy line. He does it. He does the better than anybody. I can't do a good Tom
Taboo.
Hardy. But man,
And Taboo, yeah, he has a lot of that.
Oh, he has in everything I've seen him in. He does.
Yeah, but in Taboo, it's like he does it a lot, and it speaks so heavily.
Yeah, yeah, he does it better.
So much with that like one syllable. Of
I am
one
not hating on
it.
it at all. Right? It's like I'm envious that he can be so effective.
Yeah, he did a really good job. Joel did a really good job, and Nick as well. But yeah, I would recommend it.
Cool. Yeah, that's neat. That's not on my radar at all. It's funny. There's so many things that happen like that. It's like I didn't even know that was a movie. But
Yeah.
that's, I think, just being men of a certain age.
Well, too, it's like I see something about a boxing movie, I would immediately just kind of count it out. Wouldn't even.
Yeah, but it sounds like this was a decent movie that has some regard.
I don't recall hearing anything about it.
I'm not totally.
This is 2011.
2011. Okay.
So
I probably did hear about it, and I've just forgotten about it.
They're into a mixed martial arts tournament. Yeah.
Very good to have these pieces done.
We rewatched. I was trying to think of what else we watched. I know we watched a series that he had been watching, where now I'm going to forget his name again. which is just ridiculous. The guy that plays House MD.
Yeah, the guy that has the hair on the head. Hairy house head.
No, not Anthony Head. It's a different actor.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about. It's the dude, Lorian Fry.
Yes.
So he's
Laurie. Hugh Laurie. Yeah. That's how I remembered it the first time. Because I just watched an episode of Huey and Fry. Or Laurie and Fry. He's in it. He's kind of the
is that the one where
he's the captain of the space liner.
Yeah,
like a cruise liner.
Yeah, it's bizarre because it's kind of like have you ever seen WALL-E?
Once when it first came out in the theater.
Okay, so WALL-E's like this weird movie, right? Because it's like got two movies. Like there's a part where he's on the planet, and then the other part where he's on the spaceship, and it's all about how it's kind of like Idiocracy, where like everybody's like humans are fat and stupid and going to suffer from their own incompetence.
Right.
Sort of thing. And it has that sort of thing to it. Which is odd. Right? Is that what's kind of like going on on the show?
On which one? Sorry.
The one that you're talking about that you saw with your brother that had Hugh Laurie in it, right? Because isn't he like on this like
a bit, yes, that is an element. Yes, definitely.
What is definitely his role? Is he a captain?
He's the captain. Yes.
Okay. Enough said. It's a complicated question. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
because I've seen this thing, and it's just like
it's like a dark comedy. Yes.
Yeah.
But
what did you think? Did you enjoy it?
It fell a little flat for me.
Oh, okay.
It was okay.
That's tough.
But the problem is there's characters that I find extremely annoying.
Yeah. Okay.
And that took me out of it a bit.
Well, that's the thing too. It's like that one is ambitious. For what I saw, it looked like it was very ambitious because a lot of those characters are really over the top, and
there's a lot going on there.
Yeah, because isn't there like there's almost like dude that looks remind me of like a flamboyant Jack Black character or something.
Who did?
Seemed like there was a character that was like a flamboyant Jack Black.
Yeah,
kind of
it does make you think. It's Josh Gad. I believe that's his name, Josh Gad, the voice of the Snowman in Frozen, and also played Gaston in the live-action Beauty and the Beast.
Okay, well done.
Josh Gad. So he's actually the owner of the company that's doing the cruise liner.
Okay.
He is a self-proclaimed genius. Really, he's just a rich person who has ideas and throws them out and makes people do them regardless of how stupid they may be, and acts like it's the most brilliant thing ever. Nice. Yeah, Josh Gad, Olaf in Frozen. LeFou, I can never remember his name. LeFou in Beauty and the Beast.
Animal, excluding human beings.
What? I'm not talking to you, Alexa.
Alexa, you need to be minding your own biz.
Be listening to everything I say. Jeez. Be dipping, dapping, don't know what happening.
Reminds me, man. Once we're done, I'm gonna have to get up on and book on out of here, man. I don't know when the last time you booked was. Have you done a lot of booking lately? I'm gonna book on out of here. What? What does that mean? We like to talk about the origin of words. I find that a funny one.
Yeah, get the dipping. You're dipping into the conversation.
Yeah,
you don't know what the dapping, and I think it's just because it rhymes with happening. And then
oh yeah.
Wow, Netflix is coming out with a lot of new material. There's a lot of new series they got going on. Huh.
I think one of the first things that's coming out on Disney after the Mando is WandaVision, and it seems really weird from what I can tell.
WandaVision?
Yeah, it's Wanda and Vision. It's their story. like them being married and
Oh, I thought it was like a Wanda Sykes talk show or something.
yeah. There was a comics where I think called WandaVision, and where it had to do with their storyline of them raising a family or something. And it may have even been like that. It's this kind of like,
What a weird name.
yeah,
It sounds like it'd be a spoofy thing.
yeah. And but the thing is I'm not so certain that it's not. It's almost
Well, based
like
on this picture, it looks like they got her in like the comic book, and that doesn't even look like her.
yeah. There's some of that
Comic book,
right? Because I think
like
she
a
may
horn
have to.
sort of
I'm thinking that she has to like
head
show up to
situation.
something, and so she's wearing kind of like you've seen him do it in Captain America, where like he was doing a promotional thing and they had him in a traditional kind of Captain America outfit. Because I've seen that too. I've seen them put those teaser photos out there. But it seems like it's, and I've only just gotten just little bits and pieces. It's kind of like almost like her in like a 50s perfect mom household sitcom-y kind of thing. Like Leave It to Beaver.
Yeah, that's what Super Bowl ad containing the upcoming Marvel Studio Disney Plus shows also hinted at 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, and modern looks as well. For talking about WandaVision, I guess. So there's somebody else. Seriously, what is WandaVision? Set in the 50s.
Is it set in the 50s?
That's what one part of the sentence says on this. It's just the
again,
blurb
like I
on
said,
the...
I think that there's some comics where its origins come from. So
IMDb.
ooh, I like
Plot
this.
is unknown at this time, according to IMDb.
How is that possible?
Because they're keeping it secret, keeping it
How?
safe.
That's impressive if that's true. That's cool.
Wow. Yeah, it says 6 episodes. Well, I guess that can be... Yeah, IMDb just keeps saying the plot's unknown.
Yeah, so I'm not 100% certain on what it is, but it looks kind of odd.
Think of a trailer. Let me watch the trailer real quick. And ads. So they've got a new series. Looks like it's probably aimed toward kids. I'm not sure. Called Lock and Key. Lock with an E.
Yeah.
And Key.
On Netflix.
Looks interesting.
Netflix?
Yeah.
Yeah, I agreed. There's another one that's kind of similar. That
They got a couple different new ones.
where it's like it's a mom and a dad, and they've got 2 kids, and they fight paranormal stuff or something. I'm like, oh, okay, we'll see what you can do with that.
Okay, yeah, I just watched the trailer.
Yeah.
And I'm guessing based on that, because it's like, I'm guessing something either happens with Vision or something that they're fighting is putting them in these different realities, sort of like dream situations where they're stuck in old sitcoms or something.
Okay.
And they keep switching from one to the other. That's my guess from a quick glimpse at the trailer.
So, well, yeah.
Because that's the Brady Bunch house.
If you're familiar with
from like
House of M,
that looked like All in the Family.
Okay,
They're
I
just
gotcha.
like nanosecond clips here.
Yeah. So Wanda in the comics, Randy, in House of M, she is like the greatest threat to the world is Wanda. Mm-hmm. Because she can change the fabric of reality. So,
yeah, she'd be like the Phoenix in X-Men, where it's like a 6th level mutant or whatever.
Yeah, she is. So, and that's the thing is, I think like it's taking Professor X to try to counterbalance. Like he's the only person that can keep her sane, sort of thing.
Yeah,
and I think that that's the direction that they're starting to head with the new line of Marvel. So I think like I think the next Doctor Strange movie starts to deal with this. I think that Wanda's having problems dealing with Vision being gone in Endgame, and I think that's what the premise for the next.
Okay.
I think
because like they have a lot of different spinoffs happening, right?
Yeah.
Like
and some of them take like
I
Loki's.
assume that some of them are taking different time frames. Like it might be
in the past.
a prequel sort of situation.
Yeah, and I think like maybe even the Black Widow might be getting a show or something. All right, Randy, these came out pretty good. I'm happy with these.
Cool.
The purple ones suck, but that's
you can always redo them if you want.
Yeah, they're not enough contrast from the tentacles themselves, and so I might just end up doing some blue on them or something. But let me see if I can get this M50 loving on this.
What is this?
So these are the purple ones that I didn't like as much, Randy.
Say what? Oh, okay.
But those were the purple ones. These are the. And I'll probably come back and do a little bit more on these, but these are the initial. So you get the effect.
So that one either makes me think of flame or a lollipop, or a piece of candy.
I do want to put it in my mouth hole. We got.
Well, at least it was your mouth.
The start. There's a little short zizzle crackle. Zizzle crackle, zizzle cock. You like that? It's a call back to your zizzle cock. And then this is even more zizzle. More zizzle, less cock.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I like that one. That's really cool.
Yeah. This is one of my favorite things too. So what this taught me is the yellow works good with something that already has yellow in it. So the yellow worked good, but like this purple to yellow, that doesn't work. And the transitions in between them are brown, right? I think purple and yellow is going to end up giving me like a brown color. So that was bad on my, but we'll figure out a way to make it cool. So I'm going to let those dry and we'll hit those with some more. We cleaned up the bases on these.
It's another good time to mention, like, learning process and you don't expect things to be perfect first time.
Yeah, yep.
Don't like it, you change it.
Yeah, and this is the thing that I like the way I describe doing creative stuff is allow yourself to create shit. That is step number one, and it's what the part that most people I think keeps them from.
Yeah, I get analysis paralysis and
from making stuff.
Yeah, that fear of that paralytic fear of not doing good enough, not.
Yep, and this also goes
keeps
back
you from doing anything.
And this also goes back to like what we've been talking about with our mental health stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
That live confidently but with honest introspect, and it's the same thing. And so it's like allow yourself to create some shit, be bold, but then reflect on it and say, okay, well, what parts do I like? What parts do I not like? And so I'm just calling this one out as, this one is not as, what I was looking for. And also by doing, when I like to do things, like I'll do 3 versions, do 3 different versions of it, right? So that you're getting some data to work with, right? If I did these all the same, I wouldn't have learned anything. Whereas...
Yeah, you try different color combinations and see what you think works best.
Yep. And so one to grow on. So yeah, these are looking pretty neat. Even the one that I don't like is because we can dry brush this or add some of the magic sparkle effects to it or something. So we'll definitely we're not giving up on that just yet. And then actually while we're here, Randy, I might just put a real quick brown wash on the base of these, and so that can dry while these others are drying. If you can hang out for
sure. It is 2:35 now, by the way.
Yep. And
my brother and I we watched something that I had seen before but had been meaning to rewatch, but for the life of me I cannot recall what it was at the moment.
You really do need to watch that Book Smart, I think it was called.
Book Smart?
Yeah. That's the one where Tanya had it was like Juno meets Ladybird meets Superbad.
Beanie Feldstein and Jonah Hill.
And who?
Jonah Hill and Beanie. Where'd it go? Feldstein?
Beanie. Yeah, I think is who.
Beanie Feldstein. Or Stein. Caitlin Deaver. Jessica Williams.
Whichever one was also in Lady Bird. One of them was also in Lady Bird. And it doesn't really matter. But if that's it, then I think it is. It sounds like it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, what?
Beanie.
Beanie.
Yeah.
She's in Beanies in both of them?
But it's not the main character.
No,
It's in Lady Bird, it's
Saoirse.
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 Yeah, Saoirse.
Rhymes with inertia.
Saoirse.
Saoirse. That's a Periwinkle Blue. My name's Saoirse. My cousin's name's Periwinkle Blue. I have another. Dags. Oh, yeah. Dogs. I like dags.
Okay,
Watch
sneeze.
that again.
Just me.
And Raina, you can see here I'm using this. I find that the smoke from Vallejo, like not all their paints are the same. It's not just different colors, right? Some of them they have different qualities. Mm-hmm. And this smoke one
in the same line.
Yeah. So like same things. Like some of them like will be glossy, right? Like I found this purple, royal purple, is glossy. I don't know why.
And it doesn't.
But it is.
It's not spelled out as like a different type of paint or
no. I mean, it's the same thing as
or a metallic shade or anything.
It's like this line, but this line. Well, this one might also be glossy. Actually, two of these are, and I didn't realize it. You know, you just be mixing colors, and it's like this. Why did this come out glossy? But this is thin. This one and the wood grain are really nice because they're very thin already and liquidy. And so, like, I'm using it just in watering it down just a little bit, and you're getting some nice variation here already on just this base. You see what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
So just a real super quick way to do a base here. We'll trick it out, but I just want to throw this on here real quick before we call it a wrap, so that this at least will have a chance to dry. But yeah, so it's like it's one of those things. Just trial and error. But there's a couple of these that I have noticed that I really do enjoy, and that wood grain one is really nice. Like when you're doing handles on axes or swords or any of that type of stuff, you can just hit that real quick, a real thin coat of it, and they have these paints out now. I can't remember what they call them. Contrast paints. Citadel has a line of contrast paints, what they call them, to where they act more like a wash than they do a paint. So it kind of helps you skip a step potentially. And that's what I felt like these paints have been doing for years. All right.
Oh, I remember what it was. It was Bright. We watched Bright.
Oh, yeah. I enjoyed Bright.
Yeah.
You'd seen that before, right? And you enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Previously. And we were like, I don't know why this movie gets so much hate.
Yeah. I can understand why some people wouldn't like it, but I did.
But that's not I don't think that.
I mean, it depends what you think it is when you go into it. You're going to be if you're expecting it to be one thing, it's not.
Whatever you're expecting it to be, I can bet you it's probably not that thing.
Yeah, if you go into it and expecting it's going to be like high sci-fi, like normal, it's not. It's different. It's like a retelling of actual real life cultural and socioeconomic issues and stuff retold using like what if elves and orcs were real and they're in these situations in our society, and it's really interesting. And
it was social commentary, but it was using fantasy races to kind of
and magic and
and it wasn't what I appreciate it wasn't just talking about race though. I felt because it was talking more about
race is not just socioeconomic.
I thought it was talking more about class.
Yeah, socioeconomic, class.
But it was able to use that it was able to use
But, I mean,
fantastical races.
Theirs is designed by race in their situation. If you
Yes.
boil it down, their socioeconomic status is largely determined by race.
Right. And so what it was able to do was I thought, it's able to talk about class, but it's talking about class quickly by using race as a shorthand. And it's able to do that because it's not stereotyping real races as much, except for humans. You know what I mean? Because it's not talking about, real races. It's not saying the elves are the Jews. You know what I mean?
I think it was going like the elves are white people, the orcs are Mexican, maybe?
Well,
or like
they had...
But it's socioeconomic largely. So it's a stereotypical what...
That's what I'm saying, though. Yeah. Like, the elves didn't have to be the white people, right? The elves were just people in power. The elves represented people in power, and the orcs represented underprivileged people. And that were a mix, I think, of
But the only elves you see are pale, light-colored. But with, like, white hair. Or
What's that?
The elves.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying, though. But that's what I'm saying is that.
But it didn't have to be. Race isn't the most important feature. It's more about class, socioeconomics.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying is that they were talking about races, but I think that they're using that as a shorthand, right? Because it's easy to see an orc, and it's like, okay, he's, they're saying he's this type of person. They're showing me an elf. This is representing this class,
But I mean, you can immediately tell by what they're wearing too. So
sure,
you wouldn't need it to be defined by that. But
I hear what you're saying.
It's that it kind of gives you a different way to look at it. It's like, it's
and even if it is talking about races,
and orcs, yet you're not.
Yeah, you're talking about right, and that's the thing that supposedly I guess that like classic science fiction is supposed to be doing is it's actually talking about the current society by talking about a supposed future society. So you're actually talking about commentary about.
I mean, that's another situation. Like the originator of that genre, is that what he was thinking, or is this just what people are saying after the fact?
Yeah, no, that could be, but it could be
unintentional and devised after.
Right. No, I mean, it could just be somebody's point of view of that. Hey, this is where the value of it comes from. But I do think it has a strong ring of truth to it.
It's like I forget now, but who considered the father of sci-fi, and there a certain person that's is it the
could be? I mean, you got a lot of people. You got like the father. I mean, you got Asimov. You got Stanley Clark, you got Ray Bradbury, you got...
Oh, this is saying H.G. Wells, but that's not who I was thinking.
Oh, yeah,
I'm thinking...
Wells, yeah.
Jules Verne. That's who I'm thinking of.
Okay, yeah, I hear what you're saying. And I think it's the difference between, like, you could say romance novel, right? But you could have all kinds of different types of romance novels, right? You could have something that's the best piece of literature, and it could be a romance novel. But that's not what you think of when you think of romance novel.
Is what now? Sorry?
I was just talking about like romance novel, right? I can say that a romance novel, the job of the romance novel is to titillate. That is what
you're talking, it's like specifically like a...
Classifying something into a book within a genre.
Like the stereotypical, like, the housewife reads her little...
Bodice ripper.
Yeah. I haven't heard that one, but that's good. There's another term that... I've heard, and I can't think of what it is.
Tales of Rippletree.
Yeah. But yeah, Harlequin romance is
Oh yeah. And the
so
Fabio.
When you say romance novel, that's what you're talking about.
Yeah, Fabio on the cover, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, you could have something that was, romance, or it could even be erotic, right? It could be the greatest work of art. Just that wouldn't matter.
Yeah, but I think a lot of the great things that are considered, the staple great works of literature are romances in a way, like Jane Eyre or Pride and Prejudice.
Hated it.
What?
Hated it. Is this going to be one of those kissing books? I need some more. Almost done here.
Great Expectations is I can't remember that one.
Great
remember the storyline.
Expectations
I
was
think
the
like
one with Pip and the Mrs. Havisham and
most of them have
oh,
a romance situation that's occurring.
yeah, love is a extremely prevalent motif. I think too much so, actually. I mean, because it's like you can't have a story without having a love interest, right? I mean, it's really, really, really hard.
Yeah.
To have a story without a love interest. Why?
Well, I think part of
That's
it's
nuts.
like differences in societal cultures and stuff. So, like today, we're much more lax. We can get away with saying we can have something that's more about sex, and it's more accepted easily in mainstream than like back in the day where all that stuff was supposed to be like, oh, yeah, shut that's hush hush, like you don't talk about that. Like, you see somebody's ankles and that's that's hot.
I didn't know we were going to be doing ankle talk. You're getting me a little bothered, son.
So I think back then, like the concentrate more on love stories, and they didn't have TV and stuff like that. So they're my mind's stopping. I'm having
I can jump in.
A failure to compute.
All right, I'll take over and you can jump back in.
Entertainment. Their main form of entertainment was books. Books.
Yeah, I mean, I hear you on that, but it's the same thing. I mean, it's like
and their culture was based on a woman didn't have a job. She wasn't allowed to vote. She wasn't allowed to own property in many cases. This being the mainstream sort of normality of the day. So her job was to find a man.
Was that back when America was great again?
And give him babies. And make heirs. That kind of thing.
Jane Eyres?
That was her function. So, in a lot of cases, it was like arranged marriages of younger women, practically children, with older men, even if they were elderly, potentially, just to make a financial situation better for the family or to lessen the burden of a poor family, financial burden. And the women largely had no say in the matter. So romance for them would have been like the ultimate in
the ultimate luxury, right?
Yeah. To be able to
because
actually have somebody that
has no
loves
place
you
for that,
or,
right?
or that you're actually attracted to.
Yeah, that's an interesting.
And romances you, cares about you, or whatever,
Yeah, that's true. I didn't think about it that way. That would be like the
totally
lore.
Different
the lore of that is.
Yeah. Now we just take it for granted and we think of it as just like, oh, it's a little love story.
Now we just call it
back
grandma
then it was
porn.
like really potent, I would think.
Yeah, no, that's a very interesting point. I'm gonna hit this again, and then really close to being done with this part.
Competitor. Oh, I don't know the time frame of Jules Verne and H.G. Wells. I was thinking that Jules Verne was older than H.G. Wells. This is saying, of course, I don't know what is this. This is Goodreads. Some blurb on
H.G. Wells was older than Jules Verne, right?
I was thinking that Jules Verne was a lot older than H.G. Wells, but this is saying they were competitors in their time. But this is just a blurb on Goodreads that was written by an anonymous person, so I have no idea.
Somebody from Snack Time. This is the same person who says that there's only 2 days, pizza day and every other day. Which I actually do kind of agree with.
I could see, oh gosh, it's been so long since I read any of these books or seen the movies thereof. Around the World in 80 Days, The Time Machine, The Island of Dr. Moreau. Let's see. I need to find a better source here. H.G. Wells, 1866 to 1946.
If you made it this far into the broadcast, we're going to ask that you throw up a hashtag team Jules Verne or Team H.G. Wells, depending on who it is that you support. I think that I'm a Team Wells myself. I'm gonna go with HG on this one.
1905.
Let's see, I'm gonna need some more. And just remind everybody, please hit the share button, and let us know what experiences that brings forth in your life by hitting the sharing, because sharing is caring.
Yeah, Jules Verne. Wait, am I getting this right, or am I going backwards here?
Hit the subscribe button. Hit the subscribe button. It's going to give you access to the bell. You click that, it'll get you notifications of when we're doing stuff. Look at that. I'm trying to sneak it in. And nope, Town Crier over there getting it done, son.
Go ahead, sorry.
No. So yeah, just remember that. We got all the links down in the below area. We remind you guys about the recommended gear. We're focusing on the heat gun and the glue gun, but any of that recommended gear, you click the link on that. It helps us out because we're affiliated with Amazon. We're Amazon affiliates, so we're able to get referrals on some purchases. So we thank you for that. We are posting daily to Instagram. A lot of progress photos of our beholders are can be found there. And seems like I'm missing something. Got the Quasi Shop, all the stuff that's there, and links to our Patreon. That's what I also wanted to mention, was make sure I mention the Patreon. So, Randy, you can go ahead. I just wanted to make sure that I...
Yeah, Jules Verne was 38 when Wells was born.
Okay, so Wells was the originator, not greater.
Yeah. Pioneering submarine...
I don't know what I do.
What?
All right.
Nah.
And I think that we're going to call that a wrap. Randy, the next thing I'm going to be doing on these guys is glossing up their teeth, finishing up his main eye, and adding, I think, some color shift paints here and there. But first, before I do that, I'll have to seal it all with a matte spray.
So I can't imagine that the H.G. Wells was not influenced by Jules Verne.
Yeah. It would...
By his stories.
Does it not say that?
It says a lot. I'm not seeing that pulled out right away. I mean, I tried searching for
back up.
Wells.
It mentioned him right there. He has sometimes been called the father of science fiction. A title has also been given H.G. Wells and Hugo Gernsback.
I didn't hear what you just said.
That sentence right there.
Oh, yeah.
Who's Hugo Gernsback?
It's not pulling it out. I have no idea. I've never heard him. Never heard of him before.
Do that highlight again.
Never
as
heard
a
of him.
publisher.
Nope.
So they're saying because of his work as a publisher was
gotcha.
why. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Randy, do you have anything else of which you wish to impart upon the good people today?
So I was just going to finish my sentence. I searched for was H.G. Wells influenced by Jules Verne, and I didn't get useful responses.
Yep.
They skirted around the issue. Here's some things that might go into the depth of it, but the blurbs are not helping.
H.G. Wells was the older, right? H.G.
No,
Wells?
Jules Verne was about 40 years old when Wells was born.
All right. Yeah. So yeah, I don't have time for these Verne apologists.
So yeah, I don't know how you're going to say that Wells is a father of sci-fi if Jules Verne was talking about time travel and stuff, and he was 40 years older than, he was born 40 years after. Yeah, no.
Yeah. strong points that you bring up?
Yeah. 20,000 turning the center of the earth. Yeah.
So, with that,
Okay.
I think that with pondering over it, I think that Randy made a very strong case that Jules Verne should be recognized, and not that layabout H.G. Wells with his trashy bodice rippers. Nobody need that. His penny dreadfuls, as it were.
Ooh, tales of Rudy.
But yeah, so that is interesting, and I think I do. You know what? I changed. I'm now I'm hashtag team Vern. Know what I mean, Vern? And so yeah, Randy, I think that's it. I think this landing is going to be stuck about as good as the start was stuck. But that's okay, because I love us regardless of it. And sometimes I love us more when we're not good. So when we're not be good and stuff. So maybe somebody else will feel the same way. But with that, I'm going to bring the energy up as we. Can you give me another ring as we summon Captain Krusty to come pick us up on the Herkimer to take us topside again? Thank you. I know it pains you to do that, but so thank you.
That's okay.
And yeah, so I will leave with the doctor's promise. Randy, you can throw anything extra on at the end. I'm going to come over to you and do a little wagon dragon for anybody that's made it this long. Yep, I got a camera that's over there. So let's see what we got here. Let's see what t-shirt that we're sporting too. Oh yeah. No more monkey business.
Nice.
So let me see here, Randy. We'll get just for the good people that made it this long. So we don't know if we like that wagon you dragging or that dragon you wagging.
Oh yeah.
You know what time it is.
Dude, you're getting a little too close. You're making me uncomfortable.
Yeah. You got to pay extra. Hey, no touching. No touching. All right, thanks everybody.
You need a little Dragon G string so you can slip some gold coins. Slip some 2 bits in there.
I was thinking that I was gonna like make this green, right?
Yeah.
That was just the idea. But I don't know, with it being pink, it's like it's like I could get a pink thong, you know. Just put them on. All
right.
Here,
Love you guys.
Love you guys.
Be good to yourselves and one another. Thanks for hanging out. Bye.
Brown chicken, brown cow.